Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome back to the What Are We Doing Here podcast in honor of Perchy. Perchy, welcome. Sorry, I've just eaten a bowl of Cocoa Pops and Perchy's told me off and said I was 6. And just about finished it. Perchy, I'll tell you what we're doing here. We're doing a new manager.
We are, and we're all positive. This is the positive channel now. This is the positive channel because Thomas Frank is coming in. He's pulling his train in. The Thomas the Frank engine is pulling into White Hart Lane. Come on. I'm loving it.
There it is. There he is.
I love
Thomas the Frank engine. It's all but done, barring the singing and the shouting. We've got reports. We'll look at them a little bit later. Someone says, Savage, you actually go outside. You're looking like a lumberjack. This is my lounging around indoors. This never goes outside. This is my lounging around indoors top. Look, all the reports we're getting from Ornstein, Romano, Sasha Talavieri, Ben Jacobs is that it's all but done, and they're now just agreeing fees for for Thomas Frank's staff. So I would expect, would you say tomorrow, an announcement tomorrow, maybe tomorrow evening?
Yeah, you would expect tomorrow now and a confirmation. I think you're right. I think the Frank is done from everything we're hearing. You're right. They're just trying to work out because Brentford won't want everyone to go. So they'll be trying to keep a hold of some. Some will want to follow Thomas Frank. Why not? Look, let's be fair. It's a step up. Yeah. I believe that is what is the last things of it. And I believe it will probably be announced tomorrow, which is good. Listen, it's great to have something a little bit more positive out of a bit more positive, and we can actually get really, really on board with it. Look, you know my thoughts on Thomas Frank. I'm excited onto what we're going to get from him. I'm excited into the players that he will want to bring in. And let's be fair, like, that's one of the key things that he's been very impressive with. Not just him, but what he was doing at Brentford. Hopefully he can bring along some of the ways of working there, because let's be fair, our recruitment's not been the best in the last few years, and Brentford's has been brilliant. So, look, I think it works in both. Obviously, the biggest red flag is probably the wrong word, orange flag, if you want to call it, that a lot of people are saying, well, what can Frank do at this level? He's worked at this level where maybe you could say the pressure's not as much there. But I would always argue, I mean, the body of work that Thomas Frank has done at Brentford is nigh on incredible. I mean, he's got one of the smallest budgets in the league, and he's turned Brentford from being a mid-table championship side to a mid-table Premier League side, and a team that you wouldn't argue Brentford are going down this year. They should be the team everyone goes, Brentford are going down this year, but they seem to finish mid-table, nigh on every year. And look, that's the sort of manager we need to just get us from being an okay team to a team. Yeah, we're strong now. We're competing. And I just think some of the criticism he gets about not winning stuff, I just think is a little bit short. It's a bit silly and a bit pointless. Ironically, he could make his first competitive game and win a trophy. Does that all of a sudden mean that if he goes and wins the Super Cup, does that all of a sudden mean that he's now a winner and that everyone wants him?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. So I was just sending myself a few bits. Reports coming out that Matisse Tell is set to stay at Tottenham Hotspur, but we'll go through that. I'm just sending a few bits over to myself. But listen, yeah, look, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise around some people not wanting Frank. I get it. Some people think we're bigger than we are. I get it. Somebody made a good point to me today. And when I say somebody, it was actually you made a good point to me today and said, Arsenal went with Arteta, who hadn't been a manager. Chelsea took Maresca, who hadn't ever managed in the Premier League. Slot came from the Dutch league, nowhere near the Premier League, nowhere near that level of experience. But suddenly we think that a seasoned Premier League manager is not good enough for Tottenham. It's a bit crazy, isn't it?
Well, of course, I think that's the thing for me is you could look at so many other examples, rather. They were the sort of key ones. They were the sort of top team, so to speak. But there's loads of others that have come over. And I think the really, really harsh thing that Thomas Frank is getting picked apart on because he's managed Brentford and not Barcelona. I mean, it's just really, really, it's silly. And let's be fair, he's never been at a team that you go, yeah, they should be winning everything. He's not at a team which, like, the thing is what let's be fair with it. Let's use the body of work on what Ange done to what Frank has done. You telling me that if Thomas Frank managed Brisbane Roar, Yokohama Marians, and Celtic, you're telling me he wouldn't have won a trophy in any of those times? Of course he would have done. Like, I think it's the nature of the beast. Thomas Frank manages in the one of the best leagues in the world, right? Everyone tells me
with a low budget.
Everyone tells me how great the Premier League is. Thomas Frank manages in one of the smallest teams financially and gets them respectable every single season. But then we're now judging that because he hasn't won something. Yet these Spurs fans are lauding what Ange has done when he went to Celtic for being the massive team. I'm not having it. Not having it.
Is this Football Manager?
I don't know where it's come from. Look, I won European trophies as Everton manager. Okay, I should be manager. Oh God, man, I need to bring back that series, but my computer's not working yet, so I can't.
Can I just ask, just quickly? I mean, I'm seeing this a lot. I think he's another yes man that will sign off on cheap club signings. Jose, Conte, Poch, aren't they all? Isn't every manager a yes man then? By the way, Pep Guardiola's just signed Ryan Aït-Nouri for £32 million. Is he a yes man? Sorry, go on, Perchy.
I want to dispel this as well. Big up, Jassaf. Big up for the comment, my friend. But isn't every signing made a club signing? I hate the club signing comment. Really gets under my skin because isn't every player a club signing? Let's just say Thomas Frank wants to bring in Mbermo, Collins, Wissa. Just pick 3 random ones, right? They're still club signings because if Thomas Frank does crap for 6 months and gets sacked, he doesn't leave with those players. They stay at the club. So isn't every club a club signing? I think when I hear the clubs, I feel like it's a really, really silly narrative for me. Not for me.
My mate Reezy clearly hasn't listened to me all season. I've said all season, I'll take Iriola, Silva, Frank, Holness, Xavi. Reezy, dude, listen, I'm going to ask you nicely.
About Frank.
I'm going to ask you nicely, right, Reezy? We all know that you're upset that your leader has gone. You've got to move on, mate. You've got to move on. You backed a manager that couldn't win games of football in the Premier League. You've got to deal with it. You've got to deal with it, mate.
You've got to get on the train quickly because all the good seats are being taken up, my friend. Otherwise, you're going to be standing in the middle bit. You know when it's shaking about. Got to get on the train early, man.
Savva, do you think we'll win a trophy? I mean, what time period? Like, what are we talking about here? And we've still not signed anyone. Hang on, I think the club are. Listen, I know we want to have a go for everything, right? Like I saw someone earlier said, "Oh, Levy dragging it out." Hang on, let's be brutally honest. In a week, Daniel Levy has sacked right, about 4 coaches. Angepostecoglou, right? Donna Cullen's left the building. He's got rid of the women's first team manager.
Yeah.
He's paid out Angepostecoglou £7 million. He's about to pay £10 million to get Frank out. That's quite a lot in 1 week. And everyone's going, signings. It's like, what? Hang on. Can we just calm down and have a little bit of common sense now to this?
And I just to add on to this as well, this is the problem is you'll be damned if you do or damned if you don't, right? Because if Daniel Levy had signed players last week, you would have also been moaning saying, "Oh, he's not signing players for the manager because the manager's not arrived." The manager's now not coming. We assume tomorrow. You can't. This is the problem, right? It's so nuanced, right? Whatever. And I'm not here defending Daniel Levy. I'm not saying that, but whatever he would have done, you'd have had a problem with. If he had sacked him, this is the problem, right? People moaning that we've only sacked Ange last week would have been the same people moaning if we'd sacked him the day after the Brighton game. Do you know what I mean? You're going, oh, how disrespectful. He's won a cup and you sacked him the day after this. Like, for me, you can't win either way, right?
Come on, Stel, hang on, mate. He isn't even manager yet. Like, he's not even through the door.
I don't think it's any relevance.
I'll tell you what. I feel like we've just got to. Can everyone just take one step back for 1 minute and let the manager actually sign? He hasn't even signed the paper, and we're already blaming him for Ben Davies. Like, hang on a minute. Can we just take just a minute? Just a minute to relax. Like, it's utterly crazy what's going on at the moment. Look, I will judge by the signings made. I don't want Tell. If he signs Tell, right, Frank's going to have to get the best out of him. If he signs Tyler Dibbling, I don't want Tyler Dibbling. Frank's going to have to get the best out of him. There's reports that's just come out saying that Tottenham have entered the race for Semenyo, by the way, of Bournemouth, who I think's a good winger. I think he'll do well. I think Frank would try and go down the Mbuemo route with Semenyo. Look, guys and girls, I'm not saying that. Listen, at most football clubs, the manager doesn't get to pick every signing. First and foremost, I think people need to understand how football clubs are run, right? I'm not sure if any of you saw Louis van Gaal yesterday. It was interviewed. Louis van Gaal was saying, you know, not many managers get to have all their own players because managers have a short life, a short shelf life. Yes, I'm disappointed with the level of signings we made, but can we just lay off a manager that hasn't even joined yet just for 1 minute? Like, can we literally just lay off for 5 minutes before he gets through the door? When we're saying a yes man, well, I didn't see Antonio Conte walk when he was signed Jed Spence. I didn't see Antonio Conte walk when he was given Richarlison or Basuma. I feel like we need to just I think everything needs to settle down. This is a good time for me. I think this is a good time for the club.
It's a moment. Everyone needs to just get on board with it. Like, look, another good player like Ademola Lookman. I think. Do you know what? I think when we talk about signings, I think we do this a lot as Tottenham fans, and I get it. I completely get it. But do you know what the one thing I think what we need more than anything? Forget signings. We need Thomas Frank to cultivate and build the players that we've already got. These players haven't been properly coached for 2 years. He needs to come in. Look. I want him to come in, and he's going to need to take time to have a look at what he's got. I think people go, all of a sudden, like, we just need to go out and buy loads of players. Well, we don't know what Frank's going to do with the players that he's got at his disposal yet. So he might maybe we don't agree with it, but he might look at Brennan Johnson and go, do you know what? May not be the best technical player we've got, but I'll get more output out of him. If I need some, I'll give you an example, right? I'll give you a good example. Brentford fans, when they signed Johan Wissa, went, really? We bought him? And do you know what? And I know, by the way, I'm talking verbatim. My Brentford mates, hated Johan Wissa for the first year they had him. When he's crap, get rid of him. What a waste of money. One of their best attackers this season. One of their best attackers. So, look, I think we've just got to wait and see what Frank wants to do. I think it's not one of those that all of a sudden click and it's going to turn out to be amazing. It won't happen at a click of a finger. I think people need to realize that. And I think when we talk about winning stuff, well, let's just actually get us to actually winning games of football. Let's get back to the basics, right?
Yeah. Again, sorry, guys, can we stop doing this? When we're saying he's another yes man, can anyone name me a manager that isn't a yes man?
I don't get where it comes. Where's this yes man stuff come from?
I don't know what's going on, right? So okay. So let's assume that we all play this game that everyone wants to play. Let's assume that we're all going to play this game that everyone's a yes man. That means Tottenham would never ever have a manager. No manager is going to get given every single player that they want. Every manager could come in and go, well, no, Conte was a yes man.
Of course
Sorry, not this one. Conte was a yes man. In that summer window, Conte was given Richarlison.
Yeah.
Jed Spence. What centre-backs was Conte given? This guy was given these players and he stayed. It was only 18 months later that he went. So this whole narrative of a yes man.
The yes man myth. Can I dispel the yes man myth? If all these managers are yes men that come in, and if he's a yes man, and let's just say hypothetically we sign Brian and Burmo, are you lot all going to thank Daniel Levy for signing Brian and Burmo? Because he can't have it both ways. And this is the problem when everyone posts their flag into the matter and go, so are you going to thank Daniel Levy for signing Van der Ven, Romero, players that you like? The problem is you're only a yes man if it's a player that you don't like or you don't rate. This is the problem with it. And you can't have it both ways. If a manager is a yes man, then you have to thank Daniel Levy for signing all the good players they signed. Like, as I said, Romero, Van der Ven, people like Vicario, you'll rate them, and Maddison. So do you see my point? You can't have it both ways.
I just think that how are we? Look, I get it. Some people didn't want Ange to leave, but I feel like we're literally having a go. You're literally having a go at a manager that has not walked through the door yet. He has not even signed a contract, and already Ben Davies is his fault. Whoa.
It's bad, isn't it? It's crazy.
For all we know, Ben Davies has had that conversation with Spurs for the last year. For all we know,
like what's to say that it was? Look, it goes both ways, right? When we say yes men, right? I hear the word yes man. So you're from that narrative, you're saying that he was told that Ben Davies has to sign. Let's just say hypothetically. I don't know that Frank has said in it and said, well, you've got Ben Davies there. I want to keep a senior centre half in the team for one more year. I would prefer you guys to do that. By the way, I don't know the answer. So who's to say that it wasn't the manager's answer? He's saying that, hang on, in my negotiations, I would prefer someone of an older head in my dressing room. Look, we don't know the answer, but to just label it straight on it, you can't, he's just a yes man. It doesn't work like that. It's like people are so stuck in their ways. They don't actually get how things work. For all we know, we've only done it just because we could get money for him in 3 months, in 3 weeks' time. That someone like Wrexham might pay 5 million for him or something like that. For all we know.
Listen, but can I just say, Stanley? Yeah, I see you. Right, sorry. I feel like, look, throughout this summer, there are going to be decisions that all of us really like.
Yeah.
There are going to be decisions that all of us really don't, and that's okay. Right? But how are we turning a new manager to come in, a manager who's a very good coach, very well, highly thought of out there in the coaching world, respected by players, and now suddenly everyone's just, not everyone, so many are against it before it's even been put in ink. Listen, did we think that any manager, and by the way, these people, they're accepting bottom half of the table, but then want top footballers.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, it's crazy.
Footballers aren't dumb. Footballers are going to go, I've got a chance to go there or there. I'm going there. You've got to build to that. We've got to do what we kind of did with Poch. And then hopefully the manager, the chairman then backs when you get to that level. Now, I'm not saying he will, Perchy. I'm not saying he will. We all know Daniel Levy. But you can't go from 17th to suddenly every top player is going to be who we target. I want to see Eze's. I do. I want to see an Eze. I think we need a star signing.
Agreed.
I'm not silly enough to think that we're going to make 5 or 6 Eze type signings. Chelsea are buying Bino Gittins, who's 20.
And right? Liam Delap, who's 21.
Liam Delap, who's 21, right? But we think suddenly we're going to go out and have more pull and that than Chelsea. I think there needs a moment of calm in the fact, a moment of calm. Everyone's gone on the attack, right? This is how I see it, Perchy. You've got those that were Ange in that have gone on the attack for Frank since he's been sacked. You've got those that only care about Levy that have gone on the attack since Ange has been sacked. You've got those that didn't want Ange that are happy since Ange has gone. And you've kind of got this 6 degrees of separation before we all end up back at the point where we're either happy or unhappy. Can we wait and see what happens in the next month? Can we at least give Thomas Frank a little bit of time to get in, get his feet under the table and start doing some bits before we immediately put this man into a box?
Mate, I agree. I think, do you know what? And do you know what? This is probably one of the biggest reasons why Thomas Frank is actually probably the best manager we could get in right now. Because the one thing he is calm. Maybe his calm and influence will calm some of our fan base down and we'll just get a little bit more relaxed. Because you're right. I think everyone wants to be right. Everyone wants to be right. And instead of just going, okay, look, do you know what? I don't mind it if some people that wanted Ange to stay went, do you know what? It's happened now. It's happened now. I'm now on board with the new manager. Look, I can't change the past. I'm on board with it.
Big up, James. By the way, Sky Sports are reporting this as well. So let's bring this up. Which one is
like a bit of
Sky?
Report.
So Sky Sports are reporting this now. Right now on Sky, I've got this on my screen. Sky Sports News. It's actually just gone to an advert, but before it did, I take this. I think he's a good option. I think he's a good footballer. I'll take Semenyo. What are you saying about him?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the second line does intrigue me. United still remain keen. I mean, the way Man United are rolling out and getting wingers, like they're going out of fashion. But look, do you know what? If we didn't get in Burmo, but we got Semenyo, I'm not against it. I think Semenyo's a really, really good technical winger who will make us better in those thirds. My only concern with, and it's not necessarily with Mbermo, it's how many wingers do we need? Surely we've got to start offloading some, if it's loan deals or selling them. And I think that's the key. I like Semenyo, but I think
you'll see it though, mate. I think you'll see it. Only my opinion. By the way, a lot of what I've said has come true. By the way, when I said, why hasn't he sacked Angepostecoglou? And I saw Vinay come in. The first thing I said was, he's having a clean sweep. And so far, other than Johan Lang, I've not been wrong. Mason, gone. I know he's got the job. Mason's gone. Donna Cullen's gone. Andrew's gone. The women's manager has gone. Most of the coaches have gone. Yeah. I think you're going to see Son go. I think you're going to see a bit of a different era. And I think you're going to see Son, Hill, Solomon all go.
And Romero.
Right? And I think Romero will probably go. But I think, by the way, everyone cussed me for that, by the way, Perchy. When I said that, that's never going to happen. It's happening. In the space of a week. Isn't it? In the space of a week. All of that is happening in the space of a week. I'll take Semenyo because when I watch him, first of all, what I like about him is he's powerful.
Yeah.
But when I watch our wingers, I always feel like they're very light. Yeah, I feel like they're very lightweight. Semenyo, for me, is direct, gets in the box and score goals, but likes to run at his man. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Now, people will go, oh, Savva's first choice was Semenyo. No. There's many others I would take. Yeah. I think Mbuemo is probably a bit too late. I think the Mbuemo Man U thing, if we had done Frank maybe a week ago, maybe. But also, I want to bring this to people's attention. Hang on. Not that. The bottom bit there from Ben Jacobs. Spurs also have a genuine interest in Jack Grealish. Now,
Please.
if Spurs signed Jack Grealish, Semenyo, right? I think that's a massive improvement from where we are right now.
Well, you look at our front four would, in theory, be Semenyo out on the right, Grealish out on the left, Maddison down the middle, and Solanke up top. That is already improved us, right? Like, if you look at our attacking things, and you know what? The one thing I will say about Solanke, got a lot of stick. And by the way, if someone bought him right now, I wouldn't complain. But I tell you one thing though, with Thomas Frank, he won't have Solanke trying to pick the ball up in the halfway line. He'll be telling him, "You're on the last man. I do not want you not on the last man. You should be in the 6-yard box once the ball comes in. Get yourselves in places where you can score goals." If you watch it, that's what he did with Johan Wissa. You watch Wissa's movement in the final third; it's much better. And I think you might start seeing. By the way, I don't think he's the greatest player for people who jump at me, but like I see Ronnie in the chat saying Grealish, no thanks. What?
Yeah, but hang on, this is the guy. He doesn't want anyone. Ronnie doesn't want. Ronnie
Grealish
doesn't like the manager. Doesn't like any of the. My worry, Perchy, is I don't think fans realise how far we've fallen.
I agree.
I genuinely don't think that fans realise how far we've fallen. In the last 3 years, our average league position is 10th. 10th for 3 years. 5th, 8th, 17th, right? Which if you add that up together, if I'm not wrong, is 30. If I'm not wrong, 17, 8, but right? 10. And people are going, no, we're too good for Grealish. Look, listen to this.
Can I ask in the chat, guys? Please put in the chat. So I know you're about to say, but in the chat now, if you don't want Jack Grealish, don't just say no thanks. Tell me why. I'd love to know people's reasoning for why you wouldn't want Jack Grealish. I'm telling you, because I look at Jack Grealish and I go, you're everything we don't have at Tottenham. Everything we don't have. I'd love to know in the chat. Tell me. Give me. If you can present your reasoning why not. Don't just say no thanks. Just say, oh, I don't think so because of this.
I feel like somebody in the chat just said to me, why do you want all these washed up has-beens like Sane and Paulinho and Grealish? I hate to break it to people. Sane, Paulinho and Grealish walk into our team like that. Where have we suddenly got this illusion that we're just going to go out and buy top players? Where has this come from, Perchy?
Oh, it's crazy. I'm telling you now, we don't like technical football players. As a football club, as a fan base, we don't like technical football players. All season, everyone was slagging James Maddison off all season. He was our most technical football player. Like, this is how I don't get it. What do people want? Everyone's going Eze. Yeah, look, I'd love Eze as well, by the way. I'd love an Eze at our club. But that doesn't equally mean that you go, this is the problem. Everyone picks one player that they want and go, that's the only player we can get. Football doesn't work like that. Eze might have had conversations with Tottenham and gone, nah, maybe not for me. Like right now, I want to see one more season in Europe with Palace. That's not unheard of. Like players like that will go, do you know what? I've got enough time in my career. I'll do a year with Palace in Europe, see what happens. And then maybe after, or we said, like a lot of players will say to the manager, go, look, I'll stick with you one more season. And because we've got us in Europe, like Sane, Bynes, worst. Wow. Just wow. Okay.
Hang on. Where is it? Kill it, boy. Hang on 1 second, everybody. Kill it, boy. 1 second. I'm sorry, but what cracks me up, right, is all year, how's Ange meant to finish up any higher in the table? Our players aren't very good. Look how bad our attack is. Okay, brilliant. What about Semenyo, Grealish, Sane? Nah, they're washed. They're not good enough. Sorry, guys and girls in the chat, I'm going to ask you a question. You can give me 3 forwards that you want. Only 3. All of you, 3 forwards They can be strikers, right-sided forwards, or left-sided forwards. Give me the three you want realistic. Right? Stop this. Not you. Sorry, Rich. Big up to you. Sorry. I clicked on the one before and I missed it. Thank you. Big up to you. Grealish has gone. He is a drunk. Stop this. Stop this. Silly.
Jack Grealish is literally everyone. Can I just say, by the way, on Jack Grealish, if you listen to anyone that is involved in Man City, and this is from fans of Man City, that creators that work within it. Every single one says Jack Grealish is one of the most humble blokes you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
He will come up to you and say he will not dismiss you. This notion that he's a drunk, what? Because he got drunk after they won the Champions League. Heck, I would be drunk if we'd won the Champions League. You saw how I was in winning the Europa League. Would be like, this is so silly for me. Sorry.
No, let's have a look then at some of the lists. Let's see if anyone's been sensible, shall we? Right, let's have a look. So, I mean, P would rather Garnacho than Grealish. I mean, okay, cool. Keep that energy if we sign Garnacho. Keep that energy. Right.
Wild.
Simons and Buemo and Eze. Right. Let's do this. Let's break this down. Eze is going to be 65, 70 million. Yep. And Buemo, Man U are putting bids down of 60 to 65 million. Xavi Simons, I'm guessing, will be somewhere in the same.
The price tag 65 mil for Simons.
Right. So if I'm not wrong, you've just tagged in 190 million pounds for those three. Yes, that is exactly what Tottenham should be doing. Right. Let's get Grealish. Let's get Eze, Grealish, and Buemo. Again, you're not going to get all of them, right? You're not going to get all of them. You're looking at 180, 190 million. Right? Sane, Eze, Grealish, coming Spurs. Listen, I think what I would do is I would test City's resolve. I would say, can we have him on a year loan with an obligation to buy or an option to buy?
Option to buy, yeah.
And we'll pay half his wages. Right?
Yeah, I think that would be what I would do.
Mateta, Eze, and Elise.
But you ain't getting all three of them from Paris.
Hang on. He's a Palace fan. He's a Palace fan. I think you've misunderstood what the point of the game was there. Again, Matoma's going to go Bayern Munich, my man. I've got a feeling. Listen, guys and girls, I would love Buemo and Eze. I think that more realistic, it's going to be one or t'other, as my mum would say. One or t'other. Right?
You've got to remember, Matoma, again, it's going to cost 50 to 60 mil. And Burmo's about, they're going to be, the problem is when people put, that's a good shout, by the way, Bakayoko, if you've seen him, he's a good player. This is the thing, right? But when you're putting 60 mil players down, each of them, never going to happen. Like, that's the problem. You're not going to go out and sign Eze and Burma and say Vlahovic. You're going to sign one of them. You've got to be a bit more sensible with it.
Yeah, look, I listen, I love that people have got huge ambitions. I think it's great. But I don't think you just suddenly go out in one window and go, we want all of them. Plus people will want a midfielder. Plus we might need to buy another defender. Plus Spence might go and we need another fullback. I just feel like we're not, I just feel like we're not being realistic here. Mate, if you keep trolling, I'm going to get rid of you, mate. Stop it. Jack Grealish is a wonderful footballer. Stop this. It's silly.
Oh, no. Right? You've lost your argument when you use the term ceiling. By the way, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah. I just think, do you know what as well? Speak to anyone. You see any documentary where you see Jack Grealish in it, any interview, he comes across as a top guy, down to earth, does so much for charity, right? I remember in that All or Nothing, not All or Nothing, one of the documentaries said Jack Grealish is one of the only ones who says hello to every member of staff in the morning, signs everybody's his autograph for everybody, but somehow people seem to think he's a diva and a drunk. Honestly, when people go, get rid of Levy, get rid of this manager, this player. I don't know what we deserve. I don't know what we deserve.
We want better, but then when someone like Jack Grealish is potentially available, don't want him. Like, it's just madness.
It's terrible. Listen, again, there's levels. Jack Grealish not playing week in, week out of Man City is very different to, is he good enough for a team that just finished 17th in the league table?
Let's be frank and honest with it. If Jack Grealish came to Tottenham, he'd be our best attacking player in the team by a mile.
Without a doubt. He'd be the best footballer at the
why
club.
You wouldn't want him.
Look, Grealish is rubbish. Like,
based what this is, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
This is why it's called What Are We Doing Here?
This is mental. You got to be trolling, guys. You lot are trolling, right?
You know, Spurs, first of all, why is Pep desperate to get rid of Jack? If you haven't realised, Pep Guardiola's gone on a rebuild with a lot of young players. Again, this is how it works. Over the last few years, Man City have bought through in the wide areas Bob, right? They've bought Doku. They've bought Marmoush. They've bought Savio. So in that time, they've bought young, quick, wide men. Grealish has had 4 good years there in terms of won everything, done his bit. Now, Pep is looking to freshen up and move people on. But we are not Man City. Yeah. We are not in a position. Here you go. When Arsenal took Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko, right, there's a difference between playing for Arsenal at the time and playing for Man City. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, Belieber, you're not, first of all, Belieber's a centre mid. You're not going to get Belieber. He's going to be ridiculously expensive. Madness. I don't know what we're doing here.
But do you know what I find funny, right? Do you know why how Spurs fans think to what Man City fans or Man City think? We're going, they're getting rid of Jack Grealish. Do you know why Man City are doing that? Because they're just about to sign Raheem Cherki, who's coming in immediately. What Man City are good at is they sell before the player is worthless. So they'll get rid of Jack Grealish. They'll get 20, maybe 30 mil for him. And you go, boom. There you go. They're not sentimental like we are. We keep players way past the sell-by date. They sell before the sell-by date.
Yeah, I'm just a bit confused now. Like, it feels like you could say any player we're linked with isn't good enough. Guys, by the way, my main target as Savva, not as anything to do with Tottenham Hotspur, I want Eze. Right? I want Eze. But the only names that are coming around are the same 2 or 3. There are other players. There are other footballers out there. Savva, why are we linked with Collins? Is Romero leaving? Well, we don't know if Romero's leaving. My hunch all year has been that Romero wants to leave.
Agreed.
I think Romero wants to play for a bigger club. His attitude would suggest that he has for a long time. And why are we after Collins? I would suggest that Thomas Frank trusts him. He's a very good centre-back. He's played every minute available under Thomas Frank. He's a good, solid pro who Frank would trust. So that's why I think we're probably linked with him. Perchy?
Yeah, look. If Romero goes and you brought in Collins, I wouldn't be against it. I think Nathan Collins just doesn't. He's gonna. I know what will happen if we sign Nathan Collins. He'll fall in the Thomas Frank bracket of he's not got a sexy name because his name's not Romero. His name is Collins, so he will get he will not have the sexy name. Look, I think sensible signings. You know me, I love a sensible signing. I think that is a player that you go, yeah, come in, work into our back four, no nonsense. The one thing he will do is he will not be going rash, sensible defender. Do you know what? He'll be perfect in the middle of a back three. Sensible defender that will just command his line. I like him. I'd happily have him.
Yeah, listen, I think we're falling into this trap of what we do every year. Every year we look at every player and say they're not good enough. They go elsewhere and we go, oh, what a good signing. Listen, at some point we've got to trust a manager who's a coach to say, this guy fits how I play. This guy knows how I play. He's going to do what I want him to do.
Exactly.
Right? I'd take Rico Henry from
Brentford
as well.
Henry's quality.
But no one seems good enough for our fan base now. No one's good enough. No one. I'm a bit shocked. Look,
so someone made a good point in the chat. I just saw it. I can't remember who it was. So big up to you. Was we need our version of Dan Burn, and we do. Do you know what? Great shout. I think you say David R. I think it was. Great point. I saw in there saying we need our own version of Dan Burn. We do.
We need our version of Dan Burn. We need our version of John McGinn. We need our version of these players that aren't the sexiest names, but give everything. And you know that they're not going to let you down week in, week out. We suddenly turned into a fan base where we think, Gaurav, you're just saying name. Gaurav, you got to stop, dude. You're just saying silly names now. Rayan Cherki's a Man City player. You're just saying silly names. Rayan Cherki is signed for Man City today. We've had the here we go. I'm not. I've just pulled up 2 or 3 comments where I'm completely agreeing with Sebas Wolf. So that's not true, is it? Grealish at Villa Park was a beast to Maverick. Listen, Grealish, do you know what Grealish is? Grealish is one of those players who he's different to most wingers.
Yeah.
First of all, I think he's not an out-and-out winger. But what he is, he drives you up the pitch. He doesn't give the ball away. He draws fouls, brings his teammates into play, has excellent link-up, and doesn't give the ball away. Right?
The last bit
we've got is a lot of wingers who, if they can't beat their man, the ball is bouncing back to our half immediately. There are so many different ways to skin a cat. And you saw 2 years ago, Pep said about Grealish, he said, I don't care about his goals and assists. What this man offers the team, no one else in my squad offers. Right? And that year they won the treble. He was in every main game. Jack Grealish started every main game for a team that won a treble. But don't worry, Perchy, he's not good enough for Tottenham in 17th.
I get. I always say this. I don't think we know what we want as a fan base. We don't want good football players. We don't want good football players. We can't do because, like, everyone. Some people are just chucking out all of a sudden. Oh, Matthias Tell is a better, like, what? Like, I just think it's mad at the moment. I think it's crazy.
Kill it, boy. Listen, first of all, mate, you're not getting it. I know you're a troll with no real name and no picture, right? But when you're saying City sloppy seconds, sorry, so now we're too good to buy players from Manchester City. You're a troll. This is what. Stop this. Stop this.
This is ridiculous. Do people not? So from his perspective, I want to work out that guy's perspective, right? Was so now us. So immediately we've got to blame the fact that we don't go out there and get top players. Now, when you're trying to buy from top clubs, they now become sloppy seconds. So, who do we want to buy then? Like, who do we want to buy? It's crazy.
I think the thing is as well, there's only X amount of money in a transfer window.
Of course.
And yet I'm seeing people go, right, we want Belieber and Paulinho and Eze and Mbuemo. Yeah, sure, that's £250 million worth of footballer. Like, where suddenly you think we're just going to go out and spend... I just don't know what reality people live in. Guys and girls, we've just finished 17th in the Premier League. Right? Yeah. We've just finished 17th. Can we just, instead of going from 0 to 100, can't we meet in the middle and have some sensible conversation? Like, where are the sensible fans? Let me see if I can find some sensible comments. Kill it, boy. Why do I think you're trolling? Because I could say it's Monday. You'll tell me it's Tuesday. That's the sort of person you are. You did it all last night. I see it again today, right? It's not about my opinion. Kill it, boy. Would I love Eze and Mbuemo and Matoma in one window? Perchy, do you think I want all 3 of them in one window?
Of course, everyone wants all those players in, but it doesn't
Am
work
I
like
dumb
that.
enough to think we can do it? Right? It's like just
No,
use.
someone just put in the chat, it's the greatest comment. Oh, we don't want Lionel Messi because he's a Barcelona's sloppy seconds.
Yeah. We don't want Inter Miami's sloppy seconds.
Yeah, we don't want Inter
don't
Miami's
want Lionel
sloppy
Messi.
seconds. So what are we doing here?
And again, Wayne, it cracks you up, doesn't it? The same fans that will just be singing Johnson again, ole, ole. Jack Grealish, nah, don't want Jack Grealish.
We don't know what a good football player. I'm telling you, our fans do not know what a good football player is anymore.
Do you know what our fans don't know? Our fans don't understand that sometimes it doesn't have to be the greatest player. It's if they fit a manager's system and ethos. Sometimes the unglamorous players that don't get the credit are the ones that every club needs.
Yeah.
Right? Michael Owen always used to say, best player you played with when you were at Liverpool, Heskey.
Yeah.
Right? Heskey was nowhere near a great technical footballer, but his running, his unselfish work rate, the muscle that he gave to Owen, laying Owen in, being the foil for Owen. You know,
mad.
Grealish has 4 goals, 2 assists in the Prem. Yeah, but
we're not doing GA again. Oh,
sure.
I can't.
Right. Timo Werner's better than Grealish. Yeah,
this is wild shit.
Oh my gosh,
I love our fan. Our fan base is amazing, by the way.
Almir, I think he would be bloody fly. I've not been able to get him for about 4 days. I think he'd be a good centre back for us. Well, I've got no problem with signing. Right, guys, I agree. Listen, I don't think people using common sense. I agree with you. When you chuck out these big names, the schoolboy in me that wants Spurs to have every great footballer agrees. The 42-year-old adult that understands you're not going to get all of those players disagrees. Right?
Yeah.
It's not when people go, "Where's your ambition?" It's not about my ambition. It's reality. What can we attract this year?
Exactly.
What can we attract? It's not going to be Matoma, Eze, and Buemo all in one window. Got to stop this. Got to stop this.
Crazy. People have just you've got to be, what people don't realise is not many football clubs, barring the big boys, like the Man Cities can go. But in fairness, Man City don't go out there and buy Eze's and Burmos, all of them in one go. They might buy 1 or 2. Like you look at who Man City buy, they go out and they'll buy a Mamouche.
Look at this guy. Sorry, I've got to stop.
Turkeys. Wait,
so
John McGinn and Dan Burn,
who's just captained Aston Villa to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and Dan Burn, who is now in the Champions League with Newcastle, but they're not good enough for top.
And in the England team.
This is just it's borderline stupid at this point, right? It's borderline stupid.
But do you know what I find hilarious, right? As I said, if John McGinn and Dan Burn had a sexy Spanish or Italian name, they'd all want them, right? Because they'll all want them because they've got a sexy name. Like John McGinn would be our best midfielder if we signed him. Are we going mental? He'd be brilliant in our midfield.
Kenny, completely agree with you. Kenny, I don't. Do you know what? I think there's a difference between, unfortunately, you've got people like whatever that boy name is who just watch FIFA and Football Manager and go by goals and assists. You are right, Kenny. Grealish was one of the most important players in that City treble winning season. Pep even said it. And Grealish is the free kick machine, gets fouled the most in the Prem. And you know what that does? It relieves pressure off of a team. It stops the ball bouncing back to the defense. But people don't understand tactics. People don't. Oh, but what's the GA? Oh my gosh. Okay. If we're going to go by GA, Iniesta and Xavi were rubbish. Right? Iniesta and Xavi were rubbish footballers if we're going by GA.
Oh, man. I just think it's crazy. If Dan Burns' name was actually Danilo, you'd all want to sign him. Like, if he came as Danilo and we signed him from, like, Marseille or something like that, everyone was saying how great of a centre-half he is.
I don't get it. Listen, I just think there's all right, let's talk about sloppy seconds. How dare Man City go and buy Wolves sloppy seconds with 8 euros? Pep is shit, Perchy. Going to get sloppy seconds from Wolves. Sorry, what's that? Man City have signed who? Cherky from Leon. Leon sloppy seconds. How dare they?
From that logic, you wouldn't sign anyone. You wouldn't. No one would sign anyone. It's crazy. Yes, Mr. M. What are we doing here? This is mental.
Yeah. Cole Palmer. Sloppy seconds.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, hang on.
Oh.
Wait, hang on. Doesn't our boy, what is his name? Whatever his boy, the sloppy seconds boy, say, doesn't he love Porro? Isn't he a Man City sloppy second? He came from Man City.
Yeah. But again, Marcus, you have to understand what some players' roles in the team are, right? You've got to understand what some players' roles in the team are. Listen, I'm not going to do a whole show on Jack Grealish. I just do not know how we have possibly got to the point where we are turning down players from Man City because we think we're better than that.
Honestly, can we start a campaign where no to GA? Stop judging football players on goals and assists. Please, I'm begging. Stop looking at GA and look at what a football player can do. Because if that was the case, some of our best football players, some of our legends would never be classed as legends on your front because they didn't get goals and assists. Look at the football player. Anyway, let's try and move on because some people don't get context.
Yeah. So let's have a look. I want to just show you a few bits and then I'll do some super chats. So we've got Semenyo was won by, which is being run on Sky Sports News at the moment. We've got the one that was what we just talked about with Jack Grealish and Matisse Tell. I thought this was interesting. We'll go back to this a bit later, but it says here that fewest goals conceded from set pieces in the Premier League last season. Yeah, look at the coach that Thomas Frank is, that his Brentford team conceded 2 set-piece goals all season. And in the past 2 campaigns, Brentford have conceded 11 and Tottenham conceded 13 this year alone. You've got the Spurs watch. Romano said that the agreement is in place and Tottenham and Frank has agreed on the project, the salary, the length of contract, the budget, the positions and the players to target. This one was saying that Mbeumo looks like, Ben Jacobs was saying Mbeumo looks like by all metrics that it looks like Mbeumo's going to be going to Man United. And Matisse Tell expected to remain at Tottenham. They've been saying that for a while and it's still not been done.
Yeah.
Perchy, let me do some super chats. Let's do some super chats. First of all, big up to Ray216, who's been a member for 12 months. Big up to you. Happy 1-year anniversary. Said, I'm looking forward to Frank coming in. Top coach, in my opinion. And given the right backing, I think he'll do really well. I agree with you. We're going to talk more on Frank in a minute. Big up to you, Ray. I completely agree with you. Tony Rodriguez has gifted out a Football Heritage TV membership. Big up to you, Tony. Always very generous to the channel. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that. Thanking you. Big up to Rich, who's become a YouTube member. Tomorrow, channel member only show. Not sure what time I'm going to set it yet, but look out for that. Tomorrow, we're going to start with a channel member only show. So tomorrow or Wednesday. Probably tomorrow. Big up to you, Rich. Welcome. Big up to greatest name on the internet. Krista Scorpion Nyland said Semenyo on the right, Noosa on the left would be awesome. Big up from Norway. Noosa is obviously
sort of guy Thomas Frank would sign.
Yeah.
We got Nyland at centre mid.
Yeah, absolutely. Semenyo on the right, Noosa on the left. Listen, Noosa, one that we've been in for before. Big up to you, Krista. Really appreciate that. That'd be interesting to see. And Kakaris has said, I got told Frank would send us down, Ange fans. Well, their bloke Ange nearly did send us down.
Nearly did.
So if anyone's well-versed to be an expert on nearly getting relegated, it is the Angian fans. Big up to you, Ant. Really appreciate you, my man. Andy Lester said, evening, guys. Have you seen the Pedro links? Yeah, we're going to talk about Yao Pedro in a little bit. There's a lot. Have you noticed since all the Thomas Frank talk has started, we're suddenly being linked with players a lot. We're going to talk about this in a minute, Andy. I'm going to leave that one there for the moment. Big up to DMB Forever with a super sticker. Thank you very much, DMB. Really appreciate you. Always do, mate. Thank you very much. Tweak, who's been a member for 3 months. It's flown by, Tweak. said, fair play, Savva, dealing with this every day. Honestly, mate, our fan base is absolutely crazy. We just say the craziest things. We suddenly think because we've won a European trophy that we are Man City in the transfer market. It is mind-blowing. If Man City are having to go to Wolves, Lyon, and who else did they get? And AC Milan, a dusty AC Milan team, right? And yet we can't go to Man City and get played. It's madness. Big up to you. Tony Rodriguez said, Jesus Christ, what are we doing here? Grealish is a no-brainer. Hope this helps. Tony, Perchy was right. I don't think a lot of our fans remember what a good player looks like. Big up to you, Tony. You've come in again, Tony. Said, where is at Reezy, at Cam Tinley, at Billy, at Aussie Ange, at Matt? Told you, mate.
A lot of them.
Tony, not Spurs fans. They were Ange fans. Matt told us, didn't he, all year, I'm not Ange. I just want any manager to get 3 to 5 years. Then I'm Frank out from day one. That's a good 3 to 5 years. Big up to you. Thank you very much. And then Ray216 said, I really like Frank. So looking forward to Frank coming in. Great coach, in my opinion. Given the right backing, I think he'll do really well. Right, that's the one we were going to talk about. Before we do, João Pedro is another one we've been linked to of Brighton. We've already heard that he can go, and Brighton are already looking at bringing in Costulas from
done, actually.
From Olympiacos. What do you make of João Pedro? No doubt no one in our fan base will want him because he's a washed-up scrub from Brighton. What do you make of Pedro?
No, I like him. I think he's a good player. Doesn't score loads. That's the only thing, a negative side for me. I'm not sure where he's best suited. Is he a 10? Is he a 9? I know he plays in a bit of both either way. Look, for me, I would like him, but then I try and work out, is he the step up from what we've got? I think he is, but is the step big enough? I don't know. Look,
he's got 30 goals in 70 games for Brighton. So
it's one every 2.5. Okay, that's not too bad.
It's not too bad, but it's not prolific.
No, exactly. So the question's got to be is, at what level are we going in at with him? How much is he going to cost? Is the cost going to justify the signing? For example, if you get him for 20 mil and you can offload Richarlison, happy days, you do it all day long. But if you're paying 60, 70 million into the regions of Solanke price tags, that's when I'll be like, oh, I'm not too sure. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're being offered 35, 40 million for João Pedro, I think that there's enough of a player there that I think in a season where you've got 4 competitions, he's strong, he's quick, he's skillful. Why can't Frank do with him what he's done with an Mbeumo, for example? That's what coaches do, right?
Oh, no, of course. Look, he's
only 23.
Yeah. Oh no, 100. He's not a player that he's not a player that for me I would go, no, don't get. The problem with this, what a lot of people do all of a sudden is they go very into it. Oh no, yes or no. For me, the price tag's important for me. As I say, if you're paying 60 odd mil for him, I think there's better value elsewhere. However, if you're getting him for 30, 35 mil, yeah, look, I'm not against it. I think he's a good player. I just don't know what his output is. And listen, if Frank can coach him to score more goals, then so be it. He's not a bad football player. The question is where's the best position for him? I know he plays as a 10 and as a 9. Where in the chat, guys, I'll ask you lot in the chat, where do you think João Pedro's best position is? Because as I said, he plays as a 10, plays as a 9. Someone just said Paul O'Keefe bomber. I'm assuming Paul O'Keefe has posted something.
Let's have a look, shall we?
Is bomber what the kids say these days now when something happens?
Mate, do you think I'm down with the kids?
He can play false 9. Again, that's the thing is he can play as a second striker. Is a good shout. Whoever put that in. I think if you played him with someone like Solanke, works a lot harder. Like maybe that you could probably work him with a 2. I don't know if is he good enough as a lone strike is the question. Is a lone strike? I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, look, I like him. I think he's a good player, João Pedro.
Yeah. By the way, Ben Jacobs has actually posted in the last 20 minutes saying Jack Grealish expected to depart Man City. That won't shock anyone. He won't travel to the World Club Cup as he assesses options, Premier League, European and Saudi interest. Some suitors only want a loan, but Thomas Tuchel has told Grealish he does have an England future with regular minutes. So I think that's well worth noting. But look, I really, on the João Pedro thing, mate, I like João Pedro.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player. He's got 19 in the Premier League. He's got 19 in 58 for Brighton in the Premier League. So that is, if I'm not wrong, bang on 1 in 3, isn't it? 19, 38. I mean, 50. He's basically 1 in 3, and then he's got goals in the cup competitions as well. I don't know. I feel like that could be, depending on the price, a cheeky little signing, I think.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, as I said, if you can get him for anywhere in the region of around 30 mil, I think it's good business. It's good business for me.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And we know that Brighton are always looking to freshen up, always got players coming in. So they'll probably be happy to let him go. I've seen somewhere I think that he's going to go. I just think we need to be really... again, see, look, Phil Coys, again, you wouldn't be against Collins replacing Romero, but you have a day off, Gueye, yes, or a Tomori, not a Collins. Again, what Phil doesn't use is context. Collins plays every minute of every game and plays in a very well-organised team with lesser players than Tottenham. Why wouldn't he be able to do a similar job at Spurs? Why?
Equally, why does it always have to be A and B? One replaces the other. I didn't say that. I said if Romero left and you brought in Collins, it adds depth to our defence. Like, look, you look at our back line at the moment now, and if you put Collins in there with Danzo, Dragoshin, Van der Ven, you're starting to build up much stronger, hard-working defenders. This is the problem, as I said. If Nathan Collins had a sexy name and played for Atalanta, you'd all want him.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Do you know what I reckon? I bet you he's never actually properly watched Collins.
I've watched him. I think he's a very good defender.
No, I'm talking about Phil. I love Phil.
Yeah.
I bet you he's never properly watched the game and gone, let me watch Collins. Yeah? Collins, again, if we're bringing in a manager who's a coach and he says, I want this guy, I've worked with him before, I trust that. Agreed. I've worked with this guy before. He knows how I play. I'm down for that. But again, we only want big names. Romero, this is the guy that misses half the games every season.
Half the games taken into account as well.
Every season. Gueye, by the way, is going to be, 70, 60 million?
Yeah. And that's the problem, right? If you're going to go and sign Gueye, then you have to expect to then not sign somebody else. Sometimes you've got to... So...
Perchy, we want Eze at 65, 70. We want Mbuemo at 65. We want Gueye, who's going to be 60, 65. Right? Sorry, people. This is not how it works. Plus, Phil wants Tell at 40 million to go in there with them. Like, sorry, there is not an endless pot of money. We need to be sensible.
And someone's made a great point in the chat as well. Mark Guehi's already said no to us. So what are we going to do? We can't sign him. He's already turned us down as a club. Like,
yeah, but don't let a good fact ruin a narrative.
Sure.
Yeah, I've not seen that Paul O'Keefe has said anything, by the way. Listen,
I think he said something that Spurs are looking to sign a number 6. I think that's what he said. It's not much. It's not news. I mean, I expect us to be looking for a defensive midfielder. We haven't had one for 2 years.
Scotch on. Hang on. Do I need to do a VAR troll?
Hang on.
Thomas Frank, with his 41% win record.
Troll, mate.
Hang on. I hate to break it to you, but do you know what Postecoglou's win record is at Tottenham over 2 years.
Isn't it the same?
With a better squad of players. Yeah. And £400 million spent. Yep. Well done, you. Well done, you. Yeah, Jay Spurs, I agree. João Pedro, for me, a bit more of a link-up player. Do you know what, though? I do think we need to get in some of those types that are very good with a link-up so that when the ball goes forward, it doesn't just come back at us immediately.
And look, you got to remember, Frank will play 2 up top in times. So you might have to get a player like that can be that link-up player in the final third.
Yeah, by the way, people talking about Osimhen, isn't the problem that Osimhen wants like 400 grand a week wherever he goes? Listen, I like Osimhen. Osimhen will score goals. We're not paying 400 grand a week, and I would judge Tottenham Hotspur if that was the guy they chose to spend 400 grand a week on. Not for me. Not at that silly price. Look, Al Hilal couldn't even get him.
Yeah. He turned down.
Just put the money down, though. Just put the money down, Perchy.
Oh, yeah. Just put the money down. Yeah, come on. I think not for us right now.
Answer the question. How much would you pay? Otherwise, you're proving Levy right in how hard much it is to negotiate a price. Who are we talking about?
For who? Answer the question. How much would you pay? Otherwise, what?
I don't know.
I mean,
who are you talking about?
I'm assuming you're talking about because I said I wouldn't buy João Pedro for 60 mil, but I would for around 30 odd mil. Because I said that you could find better value elsewhere. That's not proving Levy right. That's just being what you should be. I'm just guessing that's what you meant, Lewis, was because I said that I wouldn't spend 60 mil on João Pedro. Surely, the problem what we have here is all of a sudden, because everyone keeps blaming Daniel Levy, surely we don't want to be just wasting money for the sake of it. If you can get someone that can get better output and better goal scoring for 30 mil, why would you pay 60 on someone who's not got that level? Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah. Swanex, do you know what? Really good point. I know we don't always agree, right? But I saw somewhere yesterday that they were comparing Collins and Branthwaite. And Collins is better than Branthwaite for a lot of metrics. But don't worry, don't want him. Collins is at Brentford. Collins is Frank. He's a good player at a small club. No one wants him because of that. All right, brilliant. Livramento, no one wanted him. Now Man City can't get him. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Do you know what I mean? Dan Burn, gone to Newcastle. Integral part of their team that's won a trophy and got top 4-5. Now in the England squad. None of our fans would want him. I genuinely think that we've got to get over this name complex.
Yes,
and actually watch the player. As I said, I trust Thomas Frank as a coach. I trust him. Even with players I don't rate in the Premier League team right now, in the Spurs team right now, go and make Solanke better if he stays. Go and make Gray better. I'll happily go. Fair play. But we don't seem to. We seem to have 5 or 10 names that everyone's got, Perchy, and no other player is any good. You know, we're turning our noses up. I remember last year, people were turning their noses up as Sander Berg walks into our midfield.
Player.
Right. People were turning their nose up at Livramento. I learnt my lesson on this when I turned my nose up a few years back against Anthony Gordon. I said, oh, God, Gordon from Everton.
The amount of people that slagged me off when I said, I think Anthony Gordon would be brilliant at Spurs. I go, nah, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. I said, watch him. His next club will be brilliant. And then he goes, it does amazing. I said, I saw there's a player in there. I said, he was in a team that was doing really poor and was doing well.
Sean, absolutely. Absolutely, mate. The moment we sign any of these players, we'll have videos up talking about why they fix Spurs' problems, why they're perfect for Frank Ball. You know, and unfortunately, listen, there are going to be signings where they come in and you go, bit underwhelming, but I understand why we brought him in, right?
Sure.
Look at Nottingham Forest. Remember Nottingham Forest fans thinking to Wolfie and them lot when they signed Anderson from Newcastle.
Yeah.
It was like, look at the season he's just had for Nottingham Forest.
Brilliant for them.
Right. So I do think that we're all a little bit knee-jerk on this. Well, it's not really worrying how he's been frozen out by Pep. Pep's evolving the team.
Yeah.
Reezy, Pep's a coach. Pep changes and molds and adapts. And that team he had 2 years ago that won the treble is gone now. He's evolved from that. He's gone for different types of wingers. He's got Mamouche, Bob, Doku, Savio. He's gone for Nico Gonzalez. He's gone for Tajani Reinders.
Yeah.
He's changing it up. Nuri's coming at the back.
Even not changing up, he's just freshening up. I think the thing is Reezy, I know it's not to you, but to Spurs fans, it's alien because Spurs fans just want to keep hold of everyone till the end of day. Man City don't work like that. They get to a part where they go, okay, now it's time to change it up. So we'll bring in Mamouche, we'll bring in Cherky. Jack, thank you for your service, but it's your time to go. And they've got no issues in letting him go because there's teams that will take him.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Hazard. I mean, I don't know why we're talking about Sane. Sane's turned us down. I don't know why Sane's being talked about. And when you call him injury prone, hasn't Sane just played like 44 games this season for Bayern Munich?
Yeah.
If you want to talk about injury prone, let's talk about Mickey van der Ven and Romero. Like, if you're going to talk about injury prone.
And the thing is, just on that one, if you want to bring that back up just for a second, I just want to break it down again. Because the thing is you said about why do you guys not trust our youth players? I think there's a difference right here. Signing players like Leroy Sane elevate us as a team. When this is the difference, right? If you're going to go buy a winger, go and buy a top winger. Sane's a top winger, right? I've got no issues with that. That's what I expect us to be doing. But when we're signing younger players that may not be at that level, let's just use Dibbling as an example, or even Tell. You go, well, I understand why I don't want us to be signing that level of player because that allows Mikey Moore to grow. But if you're going to buy a player that level, I'm all for that because it's making us better.
Tell you what, this is a bloody good post by Andrew. I know people say I only bring up the negatives. If you've noticed, I'm trying to bring up one good, one bad.
It's a great shout.
How many other promoted teams have a 41% win rate? I'll tell you what, mate. Let's put it into perspective like this, and I agree with your point. Thomas Frank, for 4 years, has had either the lowest or the second lowest salary of any manager in the Premier League and has had 2 top 10 finishes, and we want to knock his 41% win ratio. People, let that sink in. This man, listen, is my manager. My manager. I'm happy. My manager. No, Matty K would say, my gaffer.
My gaffer. By
My
the way,
gaffer.
guys, ladies and gentlemen, you'll all see the Danish flag somehow appear at the back of Savva's display behind him. The football heritage sign will turn into a Danish flag.
Yeah, look, I mean, I just find it funny. Again, this is another player who our fans massively turned their noses up at last summer when suggested.
Yeah.
Locatelli.
Good player.
I'll take Locatelli comes to our club and controls the game for us.
Agreed.
But our fans didn't want him because he's not better than Bentancur and Sarr and Basuma, apparently. Then when we don't do well, but we've got no good midfielders. It's just hilarious. Honestly, we love our players. When they're not doing well, our players are shit. What?
Yeah, it's mad.
Where are we? So look, we talked about João Pedro. We've talked about Grealish. We are starting to be linked with people, though. Perchy, I don't think this is a coincidence. Thomas Frank is nearly done, and suddenly there is a lot of reports now. Whether it's Tell, whether it's Mbuemo, whether it's Grealish, Semenyo, João Pedro. We're starting to see a lot of names now, and I fully expect Paratici and whoever else to be spinning a lot of plates over the next month or so.
Oh, 100%. I think, look, what we'll do is in Frank will sign and you'll start seeing motions, right? You'll start seeing motions. Do you know who I wouldn't be shocked if we get on a free transfer? I think he's on a free. Do you know who I wouldn't be shocked if we sign Christian Norgard on a free and gone, do you know what? Look, we might not. He might have better other options and stuff, but someone that is, if you listen to all of these things, all the stuff he talks about Christian Norgard, he goes, my man in midfield, my leader in the middle. I wouldn't be shocked. Do you know what? If he got someone like that on a free, he might not. It's just, I'm just putting 2 and 2 and probably getting 5, but players on a free and you could probably go and get him. Like, I could see something like that happening.
One good, one bad. So this is the time for bad. First of all, this guy Mappin just lies about me all the time.
Yeah, Mappin.
Let's break down a sentence from somebody who doesn't get context. I don't get it how you can rate players like Collins and Guehi, but deem a winner like Romero as overrated. Mappin. I think Romero is overrated against the way people benchmark him.
Yes.
Do I think Romero is a good defender? Yes, I do. Do I think Romero is consistent? No, I don't. Do I think Romero is injury prone? Yes, I do. Now, on those metrics, do I want an injury prone player being the guy to lead us out? Now, Thomas Frank might get him, convince him to stay, and he plays 38 league games next season. And I turn around and go, fair. But the problem is, what we're doing, Mappin, is I look at players like Guehi and Collins. I'm not saying they're better than Romero. What I'm saying is they're fit, they're available, they play, they work to systems. And Thomas Frank is a system manager, Mappin. You've got to, there's nuance. It's not, he's better than him. Sure, but if you said to me right now, do I want Collins or Guehi for 38 games or Romero for 19? I want the guy for 38 games that can build a partnership with another centre-half. Don't understand what's difficult about that logic.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing, right? Is but you've hit the nail on the head. Not one person, neither of us have said Collins and
You've never watched him, Phil. You've never watched him. You've never watched him.
Oh,
I can tell. Phil, I can tell you've never watched him.
Go and do some research on how good Nathan Collins is. There's a reason why he plays every single game. There's a reason for it. He's very good. Don't do that.
And only 23.
Yeah.
By the way, and again, let me caveat Perchy because people won't listen. If you said to me I can have any centre half, yeah, he's not my first choice. But again, if he came into the club, I turn around and go, I trust Frank.
Yes.
Frank brought him to Brentford. Frank has coached him. He would run through brick walls for Frank. He'll run through brick walls for Tottenham Hotspur. I'll have it. Right?
Yeah.
But we want someone. By the way, I'm not saying it's him versus Romero. We want to overpraise a player that really doesn't want to be here all that much and is always injured.
What I will say on the Romero thing, and I think this is an important one.
Oh,
for me, there needs to be a cut-off for Romero. Sign a contract or we're selling you. Because you've got 2 years left on your contract. Your deadline is by, I don't know, the 1st of July. If you've not signed a new contract with us, you're out. Frank Ball. Oh, no, we're not doing that.
Leo, I could play this game all day long. When we bought Moussa Dembele from Fulham, I remember everyone being underwhelmed. When we bought Wanyama, everyone was underwhelmed, right? When we bought in Toby Alderweireld, all I heard from fans was, oh, that bloke from Southampton that couldn't get in the Atletico Madrid team, right?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
When we bought Carl Walker, most people were saying Cole Norton was the better of the two when we bought both of them, right? When we signed Dele Alli from MK Dons, we could do this all day. And this is the problem, Leo. I agree with you. This is the problem. Everyone hasn't got any foresight. Everyone just... I don't get it, Perchy. I think we're a funny old bunch, aren't we, over here at Spurs?
100%. Hey, we had it with Luka Modric, right? Oh, who's this bloke we bought from... I remember we had it. Who's this bloke from Croatia that we've just signed? No one had a clue who he was, right?
And Berbatov.
Berbatov's another one, yeah.
Mate, we could do this all day long. I remember at the time there were people saying they didn't want Jermaine Defoe all those years ago.
But do you know what the difference is now, though, from back then? now, like, there shouldn't really be an excuse for anyone now, because there's so much attention to football now, not just in sort of main leagues, in leagues all around the world. Most people can go and pick out good players now. It's almost like people are refusing to do it. Back then, like, it was very hard to go and look at players that have played in Croatia and go, oh, I don't know if he's any good. But now you get montages on YouTube the second anyone's linked with anyone now.
Yeah. No, absolutely. By the way, big up to my man Mark, always very loyal to the channel and has got a lovely dog as well. Said food chain. Oh, Mark, I always talk about the food chain. Unfortunately, some Spurs fans think that we're up there with M&S food, when in reality we're not. We're probably more a Tesco. Do you know what I mean? I'm not knocking us, but we've really got to understand where we are in the pecking order. By the way, guys and girls, there are over 800 of you in here and 233 likes. Come on, guys. And we are 10 subscribers away from 18,400. Let's get to 18.4K. The link is pinned. Matthew Ballman, big up to you, my man. How are you? Said, big up Savva. Tell you what, big up Savva. Savva is absolutely roasting in this lumberjack type material. It was freezing earlier. Hang on, and I've lost a dog. Stanley. He's there. I always worry. When I can't see that puppy, I worry. It means something's getting chewed in the house. Big up Savva. Maybe Firmino, Vissa, Sade could do wonders for you. Thoughts? Bobby Firmino, I'm guessing that ship has sailed, unless I'm thinking of somebody else. Vissa, well, he's done a wonderful job with Vissa the last couple of years. Sade, he's done a wonderful job with him. I think what we can't do is just go to Brentford and think we're going to take all of Brentford's players. Otherwise, we'll turn into Brentford.
Yeah, no, of course. I think what you've got to look at, I think with the likes of Wissa and Sade, for example, like them, by the way, good players, but I think what we've got to start to think now with what Frank's going to do is we want to be looking for our Sade, our Wissa that come in. You're not just going to go to Brentford and say, we'll have him, and him. We can't be that arrogant as a football club, right?
Yeah. We need to create them. We need a bloke that we bring in like Mbeumo, and then 2 years down the line, we're going, oh my God, we could sell this bloke for, or we've created a beast, or he's now worth 60, 70, 80 million. And that's what we want Odegaard to be, right? That's what we want. Hill, Solomon, when we bring these players in, it's just some of them don't work out like that. Some of them do. But yeah, it's big up to my man Dan. Feel free to join if you want, Dan. I've got nowhere to be tonight, so I'm just going to keep going and going and going until my eyes shut. People watch Frank's video on YouTube and how other people in football rate him. Dan, bang on, right? In the world of football, you know how good somebody is by the way that they're talked about by their peers, right? And a lot of top coaches in the game talk about Frank in such glowing terms. Not our fan base. He's not good enough for Spurs because he's only got a 41% win rate with Brentford. Matthew, no, I don't know why are you all still talking about Leroy Sané? Leroy Sané turned us down, we were told last week. Why are we still talking about Leroy Sané? Perchy, let me ask you.
Go for it.
Oh, Dan, didn't we? Dan, in the summer last year, didn't it? Me and you got absolutely hammered for talking about Locatelli. Locatelli in the Premier League. Yeah. Yeah, any league. Let me ask you, Perchy. The main thing I think why a lot of people are excited about Frank coming in is the tactical flexibility. And as my man Brian Daigle said to me, it's the calmness that he brings as well. Those two things are two things we don't have at Spurs right now. We don't have tactical flexibility. And our man and the manager that's just departed is the complete opposite from calm in interviews, press conferences. He's the opposite. So these are two really big positives for Spurs, aren't they?
Oh, look, they're massive positives. I think you're right. I think we're going to have a manager that comes in that is calm, relaxed, and look, knows that he's not scared to make a change. I think the one thing you'll see with what Frank will do is he's not scared to go, okay, do you know what? Guys, we're under the cosh for a bit. I want you sitting in the back, into a back three now, back five, just for 10 minutes. Take some time and kill the game for a bit. Let's get the ball back, right? Do you know what, guys? Look, we're on the ascendancy. Push higher up a bit more. Like, we need those. One of the biggest criticisms from the previous manager was, no matter what happened, if we were getting battered, stays the same. And it became frustrating at this point, to the level of, look, I can't anymore. Like, this has just become too much. Like, I just want us to be calmer when watching us. I don't want to watch us every game going, God, how the hell have we not been battered 10-1 today? Because they had about 22 shots on target. I want to watch a game and go, God, we controlled today. Controlled the game from minute one. They had a spell, but he changed it up and we won the game. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just sometimes just want a bit of relaxing and calmness from our manager. You're muted.
Sorry, I sneezed, didn't I? By the way, for anyone that's wondering, so Belgium versus Wales. I was going to do a watch along, but we're going to talk Spurs instead, in the hope that news is broken. But in terms of team news, Ben Davies does start in a back five for Wales, and Brennan Johnson, according to my app, is the lone striker. So it looks like you've got Brennan Johnson as the lone striker. Ben Davies will play alongside Mepham, Ampadu, Roden and Roberts in defence. And the front six for Belgium isn't too bad. Tielemans, Onana, Trossard, De Bruyne, Doku and Lukaku. Look, I agree with you, mate. I want to see that game next season where we might be losing 1-0 at half time. And we come out second half and go, oh, he's gone to a back three. Or vice versa. Oh, he's gone away from back three to a back four. And he changes it up and he's adapted. Last year, what I saw too many times was he definitely doesn't easily walk into any team in the world. What I saw far too many times last year was we'd be battered in the first half and you're thinking, right, what are we doing second half? Same thing. Do you remember Liverpool at home? Weren't they 3-1 up at half time? Right? Came out second half. Before you know it, it's 6-1 or 5-1. And we're like, he's not learned. We're still wide open. That's got to be addressed, right?
Oh, 100%. You can't. And the thing is that won't happen, right? We will. The one thing there's all my mates that support Brentford have all told me that all they've said to me is he will make you guys hard to beat. And I said, that's all I care about at the moment. Just make us organised. And I just had a look at their I do like sneaking into their group chat and just having a read. My mate went, can I swear? Went, OF, Frank's trying to take Virgil as in Collins. So, look, that's what Brentford fans are saying about Collins, but they call him Virgil because they think he's Virgil van Dijk for Brentford. But look, they're upset that he's going to be taking their main man. So, let that sink in.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Look, I think that first and foremost, I'll tell you what, Ange, can we stop now with Ange? He's gone. Ange, he's gone, right? He's gone. That we can do this Ange in, Ange out game. We've done it. You lost. You lost. I'm afraid that game's been done. That game was not won by Ange.
Don't the kids say you got to take that L? Is that the one? Got to take that L.
Yeah,
you've had a stinker there, my friend.
Yeah, look, World Cup next summer. Romero will be injured from January onwards. Yeah, you watch. Romero won't want to play in any games in case he gets injured for the World Cup. What do I think about Kevin Sade? I like Kevin Sade. I'd like to see a bit more of him. I feel like he's another one on the Brentford run that is coming into his own that will get better and better, depending on who their new manager is going to be, which apparently I think Kieran McKenna was one name that was being thrown around for the Brentford job.
Well, I think the bookie's favourite is John Corcoran, who's their head of coaching at Brentford. So he's supposed to be given the massive odds-on favourite to take over from Brentford. So McKenna's not far behind either.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Romero is the only centre-back who will do a low-driven 40-yard pass to break the lines. I don't doubt it. He's absolutely brilliant with his passing. I don't think when I talk about Romero, I think it does come across like I hate him. I don't. I just don't think that I know in the 4 years we've had him, he's not consistent and he can't stay fit. For me, that's a huge worry. If you're going to build a team around a player, it can't be a player who's never fit, can it?
Well, of course. I think the problem is what people don't realise. Context, again, lovely word, but everyone tells me how world class he is. Yet the man was instrumental in part of one of our worst defences we've seen in the Premier League era. So, like, you've got to take it what it is. Look, I think Romero's a good defender, but you're right. The problem with Romero is he can do a couple of 8 or 9s out of 10 games, but there's plenty of 6s and 5s out of 10s you see out of him.
Do you know what? I feel like everyone forgets everything because of the Europa Cup run. I think whenever Romero was playing in league games, he looked awful this season.
I agree.
But we just paper over that because he had some great games in the Europa League. Hey, again, I'll say this very, very clearly. If Romero wants to be here, sign the contract, stay, keep fit, no problem. If you don't want to be here, cash in on him. For me, it's that simple. I'm a Spurs fan. I'm not a Romero fan, a manager fan, a director of football. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, who's ringing? Hang on. Sorry. Oh, hang on. Video call. Did I?
Reezy, I saw what you put in there. You can't. I'm not letting you get away with that's coming up, mate. I'm gonna dig it out.
Show me.
Where is it? Let me find it. Nah, you're not getting away with this one, big boy. Here it is. Nah. You can't have that. Sorry. If we get 8th, I want him gone. You've been praising the manager who's had us in the relegation area all season. You can't. That's ridiculous. You can't. You got to want to wind up, mate. If we get
what's
8th,
Reezy saying? What time is it?
It's on the screen.
I always forget that you've got control of my channel. I always forget that. Go on. If we get 8th, I want him gone. You were happy for Ange to be 17th.
You can't have it that. This is mad.
You're shameless, man.
You're on the wind-up.
That is utterly shameless.
I want him gone if he gets 8th. But I love that Ange got me 17th in the league.
Yeah.
Worst points total ever.
This is why everyone thinks Reezy's a troll. It makes no sense. If you're going to keep the same energy for managers, right, then surely if Thomas Frank finishes bottom half, you're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah. Exactly. So basically, let's hear it out. So you would have him sacked if we get 8th. Yeah, but let's just say for hypothetical next season, we are 10th in the league, but we're in the FA Cup final. Surely by your own metric, Reezy, you've got to keep hold of him, right? Surely. Just saying.
Oh,
here we go. As long as he wins, who's in there? Cam Shanks. As long as he wins a trophy. Oh, don't what?
It's so funny.
Oh, you lot, man, are hilarious. I don't know how you do this. I can only do it once a week.
Yeah. Big up, Corey. How you doing, mate? Said when people knock Frank, they really don't understand football. He has lost top players year in, year out, working on the second smallest wage pool in the Premier League and has established Brentford as a Premier League team. Mate, absolutely. Look at I'll tell you what, let's see how bad Thomas Frank is, right? Let's have a look at what happened to Ipswich, right? Leicester and Southampton this year. Straight down. Let's have a look the year before. What happened to Leeds? Right? What happened to whoever went down before? Sheffield United. These teams come up, get absolutely battered. And you know what? I think I saw a stat earlier. I think you were in the group. It's not a group. It's me, you, and Chris, isn't it? When we said that, is it that he's never, ever been in the bottom three whilst he's been at Brentford in the Premier League?
Yeah. He's never been in the bottom three whilst in the Premier League with Brentford now.
Yeah. Are we
mad.
dropping Bergvall now to fit in Locatelli? Well, I mean, first of all, they're very different footballers. But if you're asking me if I want Locatelli in my 11 over Bergvall, yes, please. Yes, please. What are we doing?
Sorry, I hope that if you're saying that you wouldn't drop. I don't know where the whole drop. I hate that notion, but Locatelli comes in as our best midfielder. Are you mad? If Locatelli comes into Tottenham, he's our best midfielder. You are on the wind up with that one. I
genuinely think we don't know a player anymore. I genuinely don't think we know
what football players are anymore. Wow.
Yeah, agreed. Listen, Bergvall for me is a box-to-box player that drives forward with a ball. Locatelli is a guy that sits in front of the back four and dictates play. For me, surely they would play together. If anything,
next to each other, surely.
You would think so. I genuinely don't know if people watch players play. I feel like a lot of assumption is made off not watching people play football.
Yeah.
Michael Dawson is not a Spurs legend, for Christ's sake.
Wow. That's all. Why do you hate Michael Dawson for?
What did Michael Dawson do wrong?
What did he do for you at Spurs socials?
Internet vegetables. It Craig Bellamy. Jesus Christ. Just boot out the Man fans. They are pointless. Look, I'm interested to see if all of the people that used to give me stick week in, week out that were Ange fans, I want to see them now talk about our club. Now they've got no Ange to talk about. What's their conversation? Join in. Talk.
I think we're in a transfer window. Okay, I'm going to put this out there. Now, if anyone in here doesn't like the appointment of Frank and wants to tell me why, come in on the chat. I want people to come in and I want them to tell me why Frank is not the right thing or why we've made the wrong decision. I'd love to hear people thinking. Let's get the link in there and we'll get people. If people want to come in, I want to hear what people say. I like it. Because no one's actually given me a valid reason, a footballing reason why you wouldn't have Frank over Ange. Not one person yet. All I've just said is, you can't get rid of Ange. No, facts. I want people to give me evidence.
No, completely agree. But it's so annoying how everyone wants Brentford players. They never won trophies, but they're somehow amazing. Let's break this down.
Here we go.
Let's break this down. Let's go for it. Can't believe Man City bought Jack Grealish from Villa. Villa never won anything. There's one. Let's go again. Your turn, Perchy. Your turn. Do it. Your turn.
My turn. I don't know.
Everyone in the chat, join in.
I can't believe. I'm trying to think of a good one. Wait, hang on. There's loads.
I can't believe Liverpool bought Alexis McAllister. Brighton don't win trophies.
Oh yeah, no, I got one. I can't believe Liverpool signed Mo Salah. He didn't win anything.
Like it.
I can't. This is a good game. I like this one. This is a great game. I can play all day. I
can't believe Liverpool had the audacity to go to Hull City and buy Andy Robertson. The audacity to buy Andy Robertson, who's won everything in world football now.
I can't believe Real Madrid went to Rennes to buy Camavinga. Oh, this is a great game.
Shocking.
I can't believe Liverpool went to Southampton to buy Virgil van Dijk. What did he win?
Sorry, I cannot believe the sheer audacity of Barcelona buying Rafinha from Leeds. Ugh, yuck.
Rafinha. I can't believe the absolute audacity of Barcelona buying Pedri from Las Palmas. What have they won? This game is fun. I like it.
It's a great game, isn't it? It's a great game. And what lesson are we learning, people? Yeah, a team wins trophies, right? A team wins trophies. You cannot say we're never going to win a trophy. Tell you what, I can't believe Spurs bought Brennan Johnson from Nottingham Forest. We could do it with all of ours. Solanke.
What had Romero won before we signed him? What had Romero won?
What did Mickey van der Ven won?
Oh, this is a great game.
What did Destiny Adogi win?
Pedro Porro. Did he win at Sporting? Might have won at Sporting, to be fair. I can't remember. Oh,
let's see if
this is where, unfortunately, Hamza, you've got to do better than that. I'm sorry, my friend. If you've got to do a lot better, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you break down people's arguments with logic, it all gets a bit silly. Come on, who else is doing it? Hazard, you're annoying now. Stop. Ange's gone, mate. Ange's gone. Relax.
Oh, I love it.
Relax. Anyone else in the chat got any? We have Virgil van Dijk.
Haaland win?
Erling Haaland.
What did he win?
What a loser.
Someone's put a great one. What had Gareth Bale won before Real Madrid signed him?
Can't believe Bayern Munich bought Harry Kane.
Oh, dear. You've had a stinker there, Hams. I'm sorry, mate.
Oh, Hazard. What are we doing? What are we doing? Big up to you, my man. All right, Stanley. Hang on. Stanley wants to say hello. Hang on. Come on. All right.
This is a great game.
Remember when Stanley was tiny? Now he's a great.
Mark Taylor, you put in Mahrez, but Mahrez technically did win at Leicester, though. You can't have that one because he won something.
Yeah. All right, mate. Can I have my mouth, please?
Stanley's now the third member of the podcast. Let's go.
Can't believe we bought Stanley. Can't believe I bought Stanley. He'd never won anything. You've never won anything at your old owner, had you? Hey?
Oh, what a game.
You've never won anything. Yeah, you want cuddles, don't you?
Oh, was it before Mark? Fair play. It was before, VAR. Mark Taylor VAR, that one. That is a fair one. Fair play.
Madness. But as I say, most football arguments you can break down with logic.
They're just stupid, man. Like, what have they won? So all of a sudden, like, I told you this, right? Didn't I tell you this? Winning the Europa League was one of the greatest, but the worst things ever because Spurs fans have lost their marbles.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, exactly. Harry Kane, just one of the greatest strikers in the world. Hadn't won anything.
To be fair, someone's VAR'd the bit Gareth Bale won. Gareth Bale's been VAR'd because he won the
Gareth Bale won the League Cup without really playing. Yeah, all right.
It's shameless. I respect it.
Hang on. Let's VAR this bad boy.
That's a VAR, surely.
Hang on. Decision. It's a goal. I'm having it. My goal stands. My goal stands. Oh, I love it. Yeah, listen, on a serious note, though, it is good, isn't it? Because we are now starting to see movement. And
yes,
we desperately needed movement. But again, for all the hate that Daniel Levy is getting, we've suddenly woken up in the last week since he's come back from holiday. It's almost as though he's given the fans 2 weeks to celebrate everything. Come back. As we said, Cullen, gone.
Yep.
Yeah. Mason left for West Brom. All the coaches gone. Harry Kane. Angepostecoglou gone. The women's manager gone. Munn gone. It just feels like we're just starting to purr a little bit. Now I know what people will say. All of those that are blaming Daniel Levy for global warming and blaming him for the mortgage prices going up. They will say, well, let's see what we buy. And I completely agree. But whoever we are going to buy, we've got to get it done before we go on pre-season tour, haven't we, mate?
Yeah, of course. I don't know how it works because the window technically shuts tomorrow and then reopens. But I don't know if that only accounts, someone in the chat will confirm if that only accounts for the Club World Cup teams or if it involves everyone. So the window technically shuts tomorrow or whatever day, Wednesday. and then reopens again because of the Club World Cup. So obviously, I know you can organise on that stuff anyway, but
Modric.
Modric is a fair one. You can have Modric. They want everything as they are sloppy seconds. I like it. But yeah, no, look, I think right now you're going to start seeing more movement. You're going to see players coming in, players going out. I think the one thing we always neglect at Tottenham, and maybe I get it as fans, I do get it, that we don't think about players going as much. I think we've got a massive squad. I know what people don't believe that, but we have an absolute massive squad and players have to go. I know the likes of Fraser Forster, Reguilon, and a few others. I know Whiteman when there was maybe someone else. Can't remember. But we've got to start offloading because at the moment we've got such a stacked squad. We can't just go, we want him. We need to start getting players out the door. And I think we'll start seeing that. The likes of maybe like Manos Solomon, you might see go. Valise looks like it's going to be a hard deal to let him go out on loan. I mean, I don't know how that's a hard deal. Just let him go.
I reckon it's wages, right? I reckon it's going to be the wages.
But the problem with that is it's another player that we put on substantial wages at the club that we just can't get rid of now. So it's like that's going to be a key one. We've got to try and get rid of him.
Big up, Brian. Much love to you, my man. Everybody say hello and goodbye to Daigle at the same time. Big up to you, mate. By the way, just checking what Fabrizio Romano said in the last few minutes. The updates from him are 13 seconds ago. Exclusive. Fabian Ruiz among top targets on the list at Al Nassr this summer as club plans to bring in new midfielder. No official proposal. He's a key player for PSG as they want to keep him. And Luis Enrique considers him as crucial part of the team. That was 13 seconds ago. Before that, Leroy Sané expected to be part of the Bayern squad for the FIFA Club World Cup. Before that, Man United keep calling on a daily basis for Victor Gyökeres, still on their list. Juve and Al Hilal have also called, although Gyökeres wants to stay in Europe. Now, we could be in a position where Man United start next season with a front three of Mbeumo, Cunha, and Gyökeres.
It's scary when you listen to that, and like that is them going boom, boom, boom. We're getting it done. The only thing with Man United, though, the problem they've got at the moment is they need to offload. They will do, but how much will that impact them getting these boys in now? They've got one in. Can they go and get Gyökeres in through in? Can you go and get Mbeumo in at the moment immediately? Look, I think it's going to be interesting, right? Look, if they go and get... I said, by the way, I was one of the first that said, don't be shocked if Man United get Gyökeres. Worked with Amorim already at Sporting.
Yeah,
I said, don't be surprised if Gyökeres is heavily linked with Man United. Everyone's like, nah, he'll go to Arsenal. He wants Champions League. I said, trust me, if you look at what Man United are going to do, I wouldn't be shocked by it. And do you know what? I could see it happening.
I'll tell you what, if United go into the season playing one game a week with that front three, I'm putting them in that top five.
I am as well. I think so.
I think in that top five.
I think in a weird way, and I stand by it, in a weird way, Man United losing that final might be one of the best things for them. Complete reset. Have a season where you're not in Europe, restart how it is, and let's build again. And look, you could put Man United in that top five, top four situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Steve, it looks like they're doing a good job of buying at the moment without having sold, if we're going to be brutally honest. They're in talks with Mbeumo and they've already got Cunha. So we're looking at £120 million worth of players without having sold anyone. By the way, it's a penalty for Belgium, by the way, against Wales. I don't know why. A handball from someone. I think we should make a cheeky bid for Sancho. Where are you with Sancho, Perchy?
Look, I think Jadon Sancho is a good player, but again, I I'm going to say now, I just don't think Jadon Sancho is the right mould for what we need right now. I have a feeling he's going to be on loads of money. Do you know where I can see Jadon Sancho going? I think he'll be off to Saudi Arabia, if I'm honest. I don't see where we pay his level of value money-wise. Let's be fair. Jadon Sancho, if we signed him right now, we signed Jadon Sancho right now, we're not putting him on 300 grand a week, are they? Are we?
No, and I think doesn't... See, the thing is for me, again, if I look at it on the surface, I think Sancho's got ability.
Of
But
course.
he's another one of them for me that is so inconsistent that I think you'd end up having 4 or 5 games in a row where you go, was Sancho playing today? For me, I'd like a bit more of a Semenyo, who's a bit more of a battler, a bit more of a driving with the ball. Look, as I said, I like Sancho to a degree. I'm just not sure that's where I'd want my money to go. I think there's better options.
Mate, that's the thing for me. If you're going to get in Sancho, right? Look, hear me out, though. What I would say, the one manager I would look at and go, he'd get the best out of him is someone like Thomas Frank. Very calm, arm around the shoulder, going, look, you're going to be my star boy. I want you to be the talent that we know you are. Because let's be fair, Jadon Sancho has talent. We all know he's a good player. You don't just forget how to play football. But the key bit for me is you need to unlock it. And the problem is it didn't work at Man United. Then he went to Chelsea. And again, Chelsea had a bit too many players in one go. The problem is when you've got the level of player at Chelsea they had, you don't play consistently. You become a bit naive, maybe. Look, would I have him? No, I think there's better value for money than him, if I'm honest.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he'll end up going somewhere for big money. I think he's in danger of his career just completely petering out if he doesn't find a home. I think a lot of players are. Ian is saying, what about Garnacho? Do you know what? I think Garnacho is going to be a really good player if he gets the right team and the right coach.
Right move.
My problem with Garnacho isn't his ability. My problem with Garnacho is for a young player that hasn't really achieved anything, he talks a lot.
Agree.
And for me, keep your head down. Get on with it. Keep your head down. Learn your trade. I think he's talented. I think he's definitely talented. I think we forget how young he is sometimes. But I don't think he's the right profile for me right now. What about you, Perchy?
Yeah, again, Garnacho, talented boy. But again, he's one of those that thinks he's done it all before he's done it all. Like, you can't be talking the way... Look, whether or not he was right or wrong, the way he spoke to Amarin, don't do that. Like he's one of those players that needs a proper head on his shoulder, put his arm around. Mate, you don't do that around here. You don't mug off the manager. He's the boss. If you agree or disagree, he's the boss. Problem is again, he's one of those that had it all too early, and he needs to go on... He has the worry for me that he might fall in the sort of Dele Alli saga where maybe got a bit too much immediately. Yeah.
I completely agree with you. By the way, Romelu Lukaku's just scored for Belgium. If I'm not wrong, isn't he creeping up on the 100 club?
Oh, yeah, surely. For Belgium, he is. Yeah, surely.
There you go. I'm having a look now. Romelu Lukaku. So before that goal was on 88. He's just got his 89th goal for Belgium.
11 away. He's not far.
That's not bad for international football, is it? Look, guys and girls, there's a lot going on. We're expecting Frank to be announced very, very soon. Do you think, Perchy, we're ever going to get to a stage where everybody's just going to go, right, Frank's our manager. Noted, got your message. Frank's our manager. Let's get behind him. Or is the kind of fragmentation from the previous regime going to not allow certain people to get on board with him? I'm seeing him being called all sorts of things. I'm seeing Frank out accounts. Do you think we're ever going to be able to all get on board when the dust settles?
Look, There's only one way that we'll all get on board is if he starts well, right? We had a lot of this at the beginning of Ange, by the way, before people jumped straight early on him. Look, maybe they were right initially, and then he went and won 10 games or whatever. He had that 10-game run where I went, wow. And then all of a sudden, everyone was on his side again. So, like, look at the difference, right? We had people saying no to Postecoglou things before. So, look, I think the problem is whatever happens, right? We all knew that Thomas Frank was always going to be whoever the next manager was always going to be in danger of having this sort of narrative against him because it could have been anyone. Unfortunately, there was a big collection of our fan base that loved Ange Postecoglou. Right or wrong, not ever. There was always that contingent of people. However, you will see people sliding onto the other side. People will, when that sort of emotion drops, and they'll go, "Hang on, I've got to get behind him." Because the problem, what happens is, if you're going to die on the sword about being against this manager, fine. But then you can't then allow it when it goes the other way. Go, oh my god, he's amazing, but you can't switch that easily. Like it can't work like that. Like the problem is everyone is now on this level of picking sides. Shouldn't be about that. Look, you can be you can be a guy going, look, do you know what? I massively love what Ange done for us. He won us a trophy. He broke this sort of curse of 17 years. But do you know what? The next manager's in. The club have made that decision. I will now support the manager. Why can't people be like that is what I don't get. It's like, because I love Ange so much, I can't like any other manager. It don't work out for me.
I find it hilarious, though, how they're calling him mid-table Frank, right? When we've just finished 17th. I find that hilarious. By the way, Yuri Tielemans has just scored an absolute brilliant team go. Belgium are ripping Wales apart here. It's 2-0. Listen, Paul Watkins, Bowen, I would love Jared Bowen. He's everything I think we need. Direct, can play right, left, through the middle. I can't see it happening.
You're more likely of us signing Lionel Messi this summer than getting him. He's just marrying, or he's marrying one of the hardest boys of West Ham. Is his daughter. Imagine Jared Bowen goes to the Dyer household and goes, guys, just so you give you a heads up, I'm going to Tottenham now.
Yeah,
like, he won't come out there alive.
Yeah, it's madness. Swanex said, unfortunately, I feel like if Frank loses the Super Cup, it's going to harden this. Listen. I agree with you, right? But whoever our manager is for that Super Cup, PSG are stupidly good. PSG are ridiculously good at the moment. Look, my worry is every game we play next season, it will be Ange would have won that. Ange would have won that. Ange would have won that, even though he's only won 11 Premier League games this season. Do you see it? Do you see what I'm saying?
I think Swanex makes a good point. I think the problem is already there's a part of me that is begging Thomas Frank to win that Super. I don't think he will, by the way. PSG are, and there's no discredit. And even if Ange was in charge, there's no discredit if we don't win the Super Cup against PSG. They're that superior. But there's a part of me deep down begging he wins it by hook or by crook. Somehow shithouses a 1-0 win against them. And then we go, at least then the whole winner nonsense goes away. Because for me, I think it's madness. Look, am I judging Thomas Frank on that PSG game? No way in hell am I. No one should be. If you're a rational human being, how can you judge this man against the best team in the world right now? And I do think PSG right now, pound for pound, are the best team in the world right now. You can't judge him on that. But what I want to see, though, do you know what I would like to see? It'd be good to see in that game what what Thomas Frank can do when we do go 1-0 down. Like, whether or not we win or lose, it'll be nice to see what his tactical adaptation against a team like PSG is like. Because that PSG is the sort of team we'll be playing against in the Champions League.
Agreed. Just quickly, I'm going to do a super chat. By the way, Belgium are ripping through Wales. Kevin De Bruyne just played through. Great ball by Doku, and De Bruyne just dragged his shot wide. Should be 3-0. Big up to my man, Hugo Shell. Big up to Hugo Skell. Big up to you, my man. Thank you very much for the generous super sticker. Really appreciate that. If my man Hugo can put in a super sticker, how have we only got 314 likes? 314 likes. We've had 7,000 views. And we're 4 subscribers away from 18,400. Big up to you, Hugo. And Mark Taylor. For me, this sums up the Ange fans in one super chat. Savva, was you gutted that Neville got sacked in Spain? So why do Australia care about Ange getting... Mate.
Bang on.
It's the equivalent of me seeing... let me think. It's the equivalent of seeing Graham Potter getting sacked, going out to AEK Athens and going, I support AEK Athens. Going into AEK Athens YouTube channels, telling them, you lot are such bad fans.
So, yeah, or when Graham Potter was managing Ostersons and telling them lot in Ostersons that, oh, by the way, you can't have a go at this guy. We know better. Like, it's madness. Like,
yeah, who didn't see what he did? You didn't see what he did. Yeah, it's utter madness. Like, I get that guy that comes in. He's a nice guy, by the way, Terry Masri. And it infuriates me when he says, you lot, you don't deserve. Isn't it? Shouldn't it be we? Us. Like, just, Perchy, look, I know you might need to go, right? Is that right? You need to go?
I'll go for 5 or so more minutes. We can go for a little bit. Go for a little bit longer.
Big up Mark Taylor. By the way, when Perchy goes, I'll stay on shamelessly. We can talk about all sorts of football, watch this game, whatever anyone wants to do. But please do. We are only 2 subscribers away now from 18,400. So thank you to everyone who's helped me grow recently. Please smash the like button as well. We should have 500 likes and we're only at 340. Big up to you, Mark. Appreciate the super chat. I just think at some stage we've got to get on the same page. Agreed. I'm not saying that everyone has to go, Frank's the best. I'm not saying that everyone has to say every player is the best. But at least let this manager have some time to embed and implement a system. At least give him some time to get to know the players. And I saw earlier, somebody messaged me in my chat. You know what they said to me, Perchy?
What did they say to you?
You want to know what they said? I'll tell you. I'll tell you what they said. Know. I'm going to tell you. They said to me, if he doesn't get 26 points from his first 10 games, then he's failed against Ange's metrics. Because obviously Ange's first 10 games, 8 wins, 2 draws. Right?
Okay.
And I just sat there and thought, is that where we're at? Is that truly where we're at?
He has to get 8 wins, 2 draws in his first 10 games. At least that's like, this is unfortunately what happens right in football now. Everyone just loses that categorical madness. Like, so from that metric, so you're telling me that if we look, because the thing is let's be fair with it, without it being too disingenuous. Like, Ange had an all right start to it. He started it worked well, but let's just say hypothetically we get Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Newcastle and Aston Villa as our first 6 games, and we win 3 of those 6. But we like, do you know what I mean? Like, say we get some of the big boys in our first 8 games, 10 games? Are we now saying that if he doesn't win all of them, he's failed? Like, doesn't work. The thing is what I find funny, right? I do find funny with people, Ange fans that do this. They judge it on Ange's brilliance when he done well in those 10 games. But they don't judge after it. So what we're saying is that from that, why can't we judge it in the whole season, right? Ange's first season, bear in mind, Ange didn't have Europe in his first season. Frank is going to have the Champions League in his first season. So that's got to be balanced. We've got to use that as a metric. So I think we should be judging Thomas Frank on where he finishes this season. It's got to be in a respectable position. Look, do I think we're going to go and finish in the top 5? I don't know. Do I think we'll finish in the top 8 with Thomas Frank? Yeah, I do. I think we will finish in a European place next season at the end of the season. But do I know where? Look, if we're consistent enough, I don't see why not.
I will judge where we're going to finish when I see the transfer window, right?
Agreed, of course.
Because otherwise I feel like I'm setting myself up for failure. What I will say is this. I did a video earlier, and one of the comments I made, which I stand by, was just because you've had a good cup run doesn't mean that every other metric of the club can be going backwards. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of fans judged us on, was we won a cup, but they forgot about the coaching. They forgot about the tactics. They forgot about the league wins. By the way, Jeremy Docker has just buried one into the bottom corner. Wales are 27 minutes in and 3-0 down. This is going to be a long night if you are Welsh. John, I can't agree with you more. I want to see Ange get another Premier League job.
I do as well.
Right? And then what I want to see is, if he's doing those tactics week in, week out with another club and they're losing every week, whether or not our fans turn around and go, that team is shit, or whether they turn around and go, love Ange.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Let's see. Listen, I wish him well. Wherever he goes, I wish him well. There's a lot of rumours that he might be going to Leeds. That, for me, spells relegation.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Why? Like, it's crazy. Leeds, if Leeds, the problem is he's a sort of, do you know what? He's a sort of manager that would go to Leeds and they'd love him there. Like, in a weird way. Oh,
Perchy's
we got Love Island,
Island fan.
Come on, then. You got Love Island at 9 o'clock.
Do you know what my missus was? I came downstairs the other day. Do you know what my missus was watching? Right? I don't do reality TV. She was watching something called, oh God, it wasn't X on the beach. It was loads of couples that had split up, but were now on an island.
Temptation Island?
No, I don't know. It wasn't called that. And I just remember going, what are you watching? She was like, well, he cheated on her, but she fancied him. And I was like,
Suze loves that show, by the way. I don't like that one. I think she'll put it in the chat. If she's still watching, she'll put it in the chat. So they basically go as a couple, but they've had like problems. They split up and go on a date with other people. It's very weird.
Mate, first of all, before I come to this comment, right?
What? Wow, okay.
The moment my missus started explaining the concept to me, I looked at her as if to say, what part of me gives a flying monkeys? Right? I don't care. Nebo D. Dude, if you're going to troll, right? Troll properly, right? Can't wait for Frank to start loosing. Loosing weight. Look, well, you are a troll. Why would any Spurs fan say can't wait for the new manager to start losing? This is mad. This is mad.
But do you know what? This is what's happened, though. This kind of cult of Ange has become like this now. It's weird. Like, it's really weird. Just go and I'll be honest, I don't get it, right? Nebo, you put in, we won't win anything. Based on what? You don't know how the season's going to go. You know what's funny, right? If we swap managers, right, it's ironic, isn't it? We got rid of Ange. It's funny, isn't it? Brentford don't want to sign Angepostecoglou. It's funny, isn't it? Why don't Brentford want to go and get Angepostecoglou? Because they know he'd relegate them. Relegate them. So this is what's funny, right? So Nebo, you said, what are we going to win? Well, we're in. Objectively, there's 2 trophies we could win this season. I'm not delusional. We can't win the Premier League. I don't think we're good enough, and I don't think we're going to win the Champions League. But why can't we win a domestic cup this season and finish in the top 5? Why can't we do that?
I just think that we've gone 7. Stanley, come on, mate. Come on. Stanley. Ow. We've gone 17 years without a trophy. And now all of a sudden, our fan base has got to the arrogance level of, well, if this guy doesn't win a trophy, he's failed. Hang on. Are we saying, I think we've won 10 trophies in 65 years. Are we just saying that every other league campaign didn't matter? Every other league campaign wasn't building up towards anything. All of Poch's work for those 4 or 5 years, building and growing. Forget that. Forget all the good wins. Forget when we beat Chelsea. Forget, like, oh, is that where we're at? Are we truly saying that now?
Oh, but this is the problem, right? This is, and I stand by what I say. Winning the Europa League is one of the biggest results for us and one of the biggest problems for us, because now we've got fans like this idiot, and you are. I'm sorry, man. I'm calling you an idiot. You're an idiot. You have this narrative that all of a sudden,
not you,
Stu. Sorry, this other guy, Nebo, whatever your name is, fella. You're an idiot. Sorry, you're an idiot. Because I hear this all the time. We have to win something every season. I stand by this nonsense, right? What team, take Man City out of the equation, what team in the Premier League wins every single season? Name me one.
And Man City didn't even win this season.
And Man City didn't win this season, but objectively, Man City normally win every season, normally. They didn't this season, but who, apart from them, who do you go, do you know what, I'm going to put a bet down on someone winning a trophy this season. What team are you putting it on, apart from Man City? No one, because it doesn't happen.
But this fits into the narrative of, what's Frank won?
Oh.
Right, how many of you, at the beginning of every season, say, do you know who my favourites are for the FA Cup? Brentford. Like what are we doing? Like the same people going, oh, I wanted Ange because Frank's never managed in the Champions League. Well, Ange has and never won a game in the Champions League.
Never won a game in it. Yeah, exactly. It's stupid, isn't it?
I genuinely think football fans, it's like when people start talking about football, all common sense kind of leaves the room.
Oh, 100%.
Listen, someone said to me earlier, oh, in 18 months or 2 years, you might be Frank out. I might be. Yes, I might be. Bless me. I might be Perchy if he does badly. Then I might be, yes.
Of course, yeah.
But me saying I want a manager isn't me saying 5 years, keep going. I just don't get it. Don't get it.
Oh, no, 100%. Like, the thing is this is the thing for me. I'm not sitting there saying that. This is the thing, but me and you aren't like these Ange lot that no matter what happens, I'll back him. Look, if Frank comes in and in 6 months he's been crap and we're in a relegation battle, I want him sacked. I'm not going to sit there like. But Chandy, what I was saying, I say this all the time. If it wasn't for Mickey van der Ven clearing it off that line, we don't win that final. Objectively, watching that game, if that doesn't happen, we don't win it.
No, I agree. I love this notion now that Ange is the only manager we've got to keep to be able to win trophies.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Second of all, my aim next season is I need to see this club go up that league table. I need to see this club not lose loads of games. I need to see this club find a tactic and stick to it. I need to see a club that is well organised, well drilled. I want to see a club that when they play on the weekend, I think they've been working on that in the training ground. That's all I want to see in year one.
So I agree. I'm going to put something to you in the chat. I mentioned it to you the other day. Who had the hardest run to win a cup? One Day Ramos in 2008 or Ange Postecoglou in 2025?
One Day Ramos.
So who had the harder run to win it? Because I hear this all the time about Ange now should be a legend of our football club. So from that same metric, One Day Ramos should be a legend of Tottenham Hotspur. No one would be going. One Day Ramos should be a legend of our club.
And I'll tell you what, if anyone disagrees with anything Perchy's saying, I'll happily allow you to come on and debate Perchy, and I will referee. Right? I won't join in. If anyone feels that strongly, because what I notice is all of these people, right? Tell me 20 reasons you hate Ange so much. I mean, what an idiot. Listen, all of these people that constantly talk about this don't ever want to come on or don't have faces. If anyone feels that strongly that they disagree with Perchy or me, you can come on and debate Perchy, and I will just moderate.
Special guest referee on your own channel.
if anyone would like to, let me know. What I don't want is anyone to come on who agrees, because that's pointless.
Yeah.
We want to agree on this.
Come on. So who had the question is, I'll go back to it. Who had the harder run to win the cup? Was it Ange-Postecoglou or One Day Ramos? That's the question.
By the way, that could be the question. But if there's anything else you want to debate,
if anyone else wants to debate anything I've said,
then he's got permission for another 37 minutes. So
I've got permission till 9 o'clock. So come on, let's go.
But this is what I love. All day, every day, I get, oh, come on, Savva. I'll tell you. I'll debate you. You don't understand. Who's here? Who's here? Steve T, who cares? Who cares what? What are we talking about? Who cares? Estrella, big up. Absolutely. The way that everyone talked about him was though we were a promoted team.
Yep.
Right? If I hear one more time, you don't want trophies. No, everyone wants trophies. But I also understand that there's other ways in which a club can progress to be measured than just trophies.
Of course.
And yeah. No, absolutely. The final was against Prime Chelsea. The semi-final was 2 legs against Arsenal.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, we beat Man City en route. Someone else like that?
Yeah, I think we. I've got it here. Hang on, I've got it here.
Shameful for Perchy.
It's shameful that Perchy hounded out Ange for 2 years. Didn't for 2 years. That's a lie. Is now dismissing our first European. No context. Shh. Listen to what I said. Who had the harder run to the final? It's not what I said. Ange winning the Europa League is a bigger achievement than Man City winning the Premier League. It's not, is it though? It's not. Always second season. Come on, get on. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. You haven't got the balls to tell me why I'm wrong because Ange beat a couple of all right teams and somehow he's the greatest thing ever. Like, the Europa League is the bigger trophy, but the opportunities, what was he saying?
No, I'm just saying, this guy talks a lot. I'm saying, come on. Let's see your face and let's see your camera. Come on, let's get these. Let's see some people come on. Let's see it. Who wants to debate it?
Let's get
Phil Coys on.
Come on, Phil. We love you, Phil. Get on. Of course he'll be on.
Let's get Phil Coys on.
Of course he'll come on.
Yeah. Let's get him on. Spurs Rob said no takers. Perchy confirmed as the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Well, listen, if no one wants to fight, then he doesn't have to defend the belt. Huh?
Did you put the link in the chat?
Not yet. I'm waiting to see if anyone wants to.
Come on, egg it on. Come on, Angus. Angus, you can't come. You're not allowed.
No, Angus, you're missing the point. I don't want people that agree. I've posted the link for anyone who wants to come on and debate with Perchy. Or you can debate me and Perchy will moderate. There you go. We're constantly told we're wrong. This is open to any YouTuber, any viewer. Everyone knows on my channel that we always do this.
Against the narrative,
Steve, chill out, mate. Steve, chill out. You got to chill out, dude. You got to chill out. Look, what I would say is this. For now, I get it, right? I get it that we are. Hang on, it's nearly 4-0. I get it that we've got people who are really hurt by Ange being sacked. But surely in the next week, this has to die down. Surely in the next week, right? It has to die down. Surely. That's all I'm going to say. Big up to 7, who has said, I'm sure your missus thinks the same with football. Oh, yeah, my missus gets so frustrated with football. But it is what it is. Stanley! Just barking at next door neighbour's dog, I think. Big up to you, Sanctuary of 7. As always, very, very generous. Sanctuary, tell them we are 1 subscriber away from 13,400. 13,400. So please, please, smash that button. By the way, at 9 p.m., I will redirect you over to Tottenham away. Hang on 1 second. Perchy, can you talk? The dog's going mad.
Sure. Come on, we're still waiting for one of you lot to come and debate. So here's the question, right? We're talking about Man City. We're talking about the Spurs win in the Carabao Cup. Does anyone know the route, the cup that he took for that cup? I'm going to read it out to you. Let me find it. Hang on. I'll have to search it. I can't remember where I put it. Here we go. So the Europa League 2025 versus the Carling Cup in 2008. Who had the harder running? In the Carling Cup, Tottenham beat Middlesbrough, Blackpool, Man City, Arsenal and Chelsea. In the Europa League, we beat Karabag, Ferencvaros, AZ Alkmaar twice, Hoffenheim, Elfsborg, Bodo Glimt twice, and the worst Man United team in 50 years. There you go. Now come and argue with that one.
They won't.
Just saying.
Carlos has said, Savva, my kid wants to see your pug. They ask every time, can I bring him on camera? Oh, God. He's Wrigley. There he is. There he is.
Say hi to Carlos's kids.
Hello. Can I have a kiss? Thank you. Look, it's Stewie, the most beautiful, beautiful boy in the world. Aren't you? Thank you. Lovely boy. There you go. You've seen him. Look, I didn't think anyone would come on. But listen, as I always say, my channel's always open. I'm someone who believes in.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, kill it, boy. I do apologize. I missed Frankfurt off. Sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. We did beat Frankfurt. I missed it off my list. I do apologize. I wasn't doing it on purpose. I did just forget to read it.
Yeah, and by the way, it's a decent Frankfurt.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. By the way, that's not the difference maker.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Look, by the way, as I always say, my channel is always open. I know that there's lots of YouTubers out there that just want to slag people off on videos and posts. My YouTube is open. If those people ever want to talk, it's here. The link's there. They can come on, whoever it is. But hey, that's about integrity. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yep.
Perchy, what I would say is this. I've got a renewed vigor about Tottenham right now.
Me too.
I've got a renewed interest in it. As in, I am not going into every day thinking, oh, my God, are we going to be wide open? Oh, my God, we're going to have two players at the back. But I'm going to ask this. Next season, it is fundamental for me that these players don't, I would say down tools, but these players get on board with Frank. None of this sulking because they won't be able to get away with what they got away with Ange. They've got to get behind this manager, surely. They're paid by Spurs.
I don't think that won't happen, though. I think this is more of a narrative driven by fans more than anything. Like, yeah, look, I do find it weird, and I'm a little bit cringed by it. But fine, I'll let it slide with all the posting of your WhatsApp messages to Angepostecoglou. Like, all right, yeah, great. Let's not pretend before that we could actively see discontent between certain players at this club, right? Let's not pretend that we didn't see Maddison and Son on the touch and going, it's the same again this week. Like, let's not pretend we didn't see stuff like that. So, look, I don't think the players are going to go, oh, well, Ange is gone, I'm now not going to play. I don't believe any of this nonsense. I don't buy into the nonsense that Romero is now definitely going because of Ange. No, he was going to go regardless. For me, I don't see anyone. I think the players will be fine. Happens all the time. Like, it's not the first time these players have had a manager sacked, right? It's not uncommon. Happens everywhere, right?
Yeah, I feel like people are really over-egging this. The players are all so upset. I'm not being funny. We're 17th in the league and we lose most weeks. Are the players really that upset? Like, I felt like James Maddison's post was like really written by a script writer.
Yeah.
Thanks for everything you've done for me. I've learned so much from you. Hang on, mate. You were the scapegoat for most of his 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, hang on, mate. All the fans were saying that you weren't the right guy, and now all of a sudden I've learned so much from you, and blah blah. It just felt all a bit forced to me.
The one that I do find a little bit ironic, right? All the people that are going, oh, Romero loved Ange, blah blah blah. He's the only one that's not put anything out. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's telling me that's the reason why Romero wants to go, because Ange is going. Well, he hasn't said anything to Ange publicly. I don't know what he said privately. And look, maybe he doesn't want to put anything publicly. That's fine as well. But I do find it very funny that he's the one that everyone's telling me that loves Ange and stuff, but he hasn't put anything out publicly. I mean, even Brian Hill put something out, which I thought was a bit weird. I mean, he played about 2 games under Ange, didn't
he? Yeah. By the way, Ashika, I've seen this. I will be happy if we don't concede 40 plus goals. Ashika, just so you know, only one Premier League team this season conceded less than 40 goals. So that's a big ask. It's a big ask that we're suddenly going to go from 65 to the second best defense in the Premier League. And this is where I think we've got to baby steps. Baby steps.
That's average, just a little over 1 a game average. I don't think that will be the case, right? There'll be games. Look, by the way, I think we'll be better defensively. Like, to say, I'll be happy if we don't. Look, I just want us. Do you know what? I think we need to, in a sense, right now, go, look, forget about individual little stats like this. I just want us to be organised again, right? Organised. Look, there might be times when we do concede goals. It's going to take time, right? Like, I think people need to give a little bit of due with when it comes to this and go, look, we can't just, it's going to take time. And there are going to be moments where you go, oh my God, but players are going to have to learn to coach again. These players haven't been coached properly for a while.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm only going to go for another 5 minutes, by the way, and then I will redirect you over to Tottenham away. Please get over there and show those boys your support as well. I think it's really important, guys and girls, as well. I think in what is a very fractious world of YouTube, I think sometimes we all need to remember that we all are Tottenham fans.
Yeah.
Right? I'm seeing so much Tottenham on Tottenham violence, as if it were, without the violence. Tottenham on Tottenham fighting.
It's a civil war.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be that, right? Everyone's got different opinions. Surely we want some form of difference of opinion. So when I do send you over there, please do get over there and sub. Kill it, boy. We don't kill it, boy. We don't do this about YouTubers here. We don't do this.
Doing that, man. Look,
we don't do this, mate.
Opinion, right? Look, whether we agree or disagree with his opinion, I don't have to do that. Look, I think one of the key thing is here, right, guys. Everyone mentions the word echo chamber, right? If anything, we're the least echo chambers when we have these conversations. Because I always say, go and listen to every Spurs YouTuber. Get everyone's opinion and formulate your own opinion on everyone, right? Oh, what? You'll be frank out. You've only watched a 10-minute. It was actually 22 minutes long. And I watched one that was about 55, but good luck.
Yeah, I do. I do find it funny. Listen, I think we've got to remember that whatever your opinion of somebody, we are all Spurs fans. And I don't feel, look, listen, I can't tell any of you what to watch. And I wouldn't tell any of you what to watch. But what I do feel is strange, right? Is, I agree with this person, that person. I can't like them as well. There's a lot. I'm sure my opinion is different to Sean's. We've probably got some agreeing. There's probably some crossover, but Sean's opinion is going to be different to Irish Dave, and there's going to be some crossover. And you know, the Spurs roundabout goes on. I just feel that I'm seeing a lot of hate out. So much hate for people. It's just so uncalled for. Right now should be a moment where, listen, get involved in all Spurs YouTubers, because right now is silly season. We always call the transfer era silly season. So everyone's going to be doing their own thing in their own way. Look, I think Sean made a good point the other day. Sean made a really good point the other day. He said, I have no issues if someone doesn't agree with me. Just come with me with your reasoning why, and we can meet there and work out
an understanding of it. I think there's no right or wrongs here. Listen, it's just opinions, right? Everything's just an opinion. But formulate your opinion and come at me. Don't just come out with it's just my opinion. Come out with a proper opinion. It's all what we want.
Yeah. Absolutely. Listen, guys, I will wrap it up there. Listen, Perchy, great show. The What Are We Doing Here podcast. Listen, I'm expecting by the time we meet next week, I'm expecting we're going to have a new manager in place. I think we're going to have heard about the director of football. We should be further down the road with transfers as well. So, Perchy, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time as always.
No, look, thank you very much. It was a good show. Look, and big up to everyone. Big up to everyone in the chat. Join the Thomas the Frank engine. As I said, get on quickly because some of the better seats are taken up early. I've got a nice first class seat at the front. So if you're lucky, you can get on next to me. Listen, I'm excited. I think Thomas Frank is going to be he's a breath of fresh air. Is that a cliche? Maybe. But do you know what? It's not going to be a breath of fresh air. It's just going to be sensible. I don't want a manager coming in promising the world. Just want a manager to come in and coach us better and go, do you know what? I'll work on this because that's where I think we're weak in. That's all I want. Agreed.
Right, listen, I'm gonna send you all over now to Tottenham away. Please, when you get over there, just type in Savva Raid. It really does help. Please show support to the boys over there. He's got a good old panel on there tonight. He's got all the boys on for you. So please go and watch that. Take care. Much love. And let's just try and keep a little bit of civil harmony. P.S. If you guys see that somebody has said something about me, you don't all have to message me at once. The moment a YouTuber makes a video or a post about me, I get about 100 messages saying, you heard what's been said? Yes, I've heard what's been said. Don't worry. Take care, everyone. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs, and go and raid Tottenham away. Take care. By the way, Sills Diamond says, big up to the handsome Stewie. Sorry, a goal there in injury time. Big up to you, Sills Diamond. Take care. Thank you very much, my man. And as always, come on, you Spurs.